All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome into the High Noon Report. I am Pugs Moran. We do this every Monday through I say Monday through Thursday. Why do I say Monday through Thursday? I say Monday through Thursday because that's when we do the Radio Misfits show. That's the second stream that we do every night at 9 p.m., Monday through Thursday. But this one, the High Noon Report, this is about hot topics, current events, headlines, dare I say, water cooler conversation, that sort of thing. Yeah, it is. And we even got a theme. This will explain it all to you. Take it, Rob.
Welcome to the High Noon with Pugs Moran.
We got production now.
Daily news from celebrities, maybe Iran.
People writing songs.
Get your water cooler fix.
That's what it's about.
Get your water cooler fix.
All the dumb stuff you need to know.
On your fix.
Yeah.
Get your
There it
water
is.
cooler fix. Pugs and Company.
All right, now, everybody.
Pugs and Company. Pugs and Company. Pugs and Company.
Yeah. One, 2, 3, 5. Missed it. Anyway, there you go. That's my buddy Rob with the High Noon Report theme. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, grab your beanbag chair. I need you to get yourself into the chat room here. We got a lot to go through today. What do we do on this show? Well, every Monday through Friday, I like to compile a list of all the things that people are talking about, whether they're headlines, hot topics, trends, buzzworthy notations, whatever it is. I will try and give it to you here in the next couple hours. I'm going to give you what it is that's trending. I'm going to tell you why it's trending, and then I'll give you my little 2 cents on it, and then we move on. We don't spend too much time on any one issue. This is about all the different things, not one big thing. You know what I mean? So you're going to get a whole bunch. I guess that's just a long way of saying that if you're not interested in what we're talking about, just hold your breath for about 60 seconds because we'll move on to something else. I promise you. That's the whole point of this show. We do it too in a couple of different segments. The first segment we'd like to call Previously On or Erstwhile On. You know, previous episodes of this particular day. It is the 12th day of July. So we would say, all right, what happened in the past on the 12th day of July? Why do we do this? Well, for a very good reason. One, it chews up a good chunk of time, and I like waxing poetic on all these little things from history that I may or may not know. It's a drunk history kind of thing with me. I don't really do much research into whatever it is. I just riff on it. I like that, but also patterns and rhythms. You know, like what kind of things happened on this day? Do certain things happen on this day? Like, do we have earthquakes on this day? Do planes crash at an inordinate amount on this day? Do we have, assassinations on this day? What kind of things? Anything that'll help us, with a little bit of a roadmap for what to expect in the next couple hours of this edition of July the 12th. That's why we do it. Then we go through birthdays. People born on this day. We talk about people who were born, celebrate their accomplishments, sometimes make fun of them. It really all depends. Then we go through the mournings, people who have died. These are the people who've died. These are the people who've died. Do we care? That's the question that we ask. We go through, people die every day. There are a lot of a-holes out there. A-holes die every day. Do we have to shed tears for each and every one of them? I say no. And this is the segment where we decide who gets our tears and who doesn't. All right, so after we've done that, after we've done the erstwhile on this day, happy birthdays, and then, these are the people who've died. After we've done those, then we move on into the trends of the day, things that are popping off online, things that people are talking about, headlines screaming from coast to coast, all of that stuff. All right, so we understand how the show works. What is happening? Why do we have such a slow number today? Why is this number like 1/3 what it usually is? Where is everybody? Did my things not share? That may have been a problem. Hold on. Did I share my channel? Yeah, I shared my channels. All right. That's fine. We'll see. We'll see how this progresses. Oh, I know what it is. Guys. It's 12:05. And usually I don't start until 12:05. So maybe that's it. Maybe we're just a little bit early. Hi, Whitney. Whitney's here early. Appreciate that. Jeff is here. Jeff just got married, so good thoughts for him and his lovely bride. Barney's here. We got Jen here. April is here. All the usuals, all the people that I depend on every day are here. Should we wait a couple of minutes? I don't think so. Should we wait for the Adam Rainias? Should we wait for the Leslie Collinses? Should we wait for the Als? I don't know. Maybe we should just move on. I say we move on. Let's get started. Today is high noon for the 12th day of July, year of our Lord, 2023. It is the 193rd day of the year. There are 172 of these left. Byron's here. Comes up. Byron says, we got about 6 minutes before Leslie comes out of her pharmaceutical haze. It's funny because we've got like 15 Leslies that he could be referring to, but I think we know which one. I think we're pretty sure on which one he's talking about. All right, let's get into it. Let's do a little segment we like to call on this here show, Erstwhile on This Day. That's right. We take a look back in time at previous editions of July the 12th. I got to be honest with you. Dog days of summer being what the dog days of summer are, they are historically the dog days of summer. There's almost nothing. There's like very little things that happen that are earth-shattering as far as on previous editions of July the 12th. How about this? In 1862, the Medal of Honor is authorized by the United States Congress. Awesome. You know, I guess I figured that it had to have been authorized on a certain day. So there you go. On this day in 1962, 100 years later, nothing happened between 1862 and 1962. Nothing that I found interesting. In 1962, the Rolling Stones performed for the very first time. The Rolling Stones on this day in 1962. They get together. They played their first show as the Rolling Stones at London's Marquee Club on this day in 1962. On this day in 1967, riots begin in Newark, New Jersey. The Newark, New Jersey riots. Now, I don't necessarily have a historic knowledge of the Newark riots. I didn't learn about the Newark riots. You know, I lived through the 92 LA riots. I learned about, here are the riots I learned about in American public schools. I learned about the Boston Tea Party. That was a riot. I learned about, because I was in Chicago, I learned about the Haymarket riot, which was a union labor dispute. I learned about the 1968 Democratic National Convention riots in Chicago, also because of where I was. I learned about the civil rights riots in Birmingham and Bull Connor. We talked about him. Yesterday was Bull Connor's birthday, so I knew about that. I lived through the 92 riots, and I had some working knowledge of like the Watts riots of, I believe, 1968. I did not know about the Newark riots until I started watching The Sopranos. That's right. All I know about the Newark riots on this day, they began in 1967. The only thing I know about them is that they severely affected Tony Soprano's view on race relations in this country. The entire, is it a prequel film? The Many Saints of Newark. The Many Saints of Newark take place during the Newark riots that shaped a young Tony Soprano's view on race relations. All right, there you have it. On this day, the Newark riots. But I didn't really know about them until The Sopranos. Wasn't really like I knew about the Watts riots and I knew about, those kinds of things, but didn't learn about the Newark riots. On this day in 2001, the space shuttle Atlantis is launched on a mission carrying the Quest joint airlock to the International Space Station. See, I'm stretching. That's not even, it's space stuff, and I like space stuff. So I was like, I need something else. There needs to be something else that's newsworthy. We're already in 2001. On this day in 2006, the Lebanon War begins. Again, right? Like, okay. All right, I guess that sounds like it was a thing. On this day in 2007, U.S. Army Apache helicopters engage in airstrikes against armed insurgents in Baghdad. Civilians are killed, and footage from the cockpit of the helicopters is leaked online after the incident. I remember that. That was where we see like just the war, man. That's where we see that war is war. We like, so many people over here like to be antiseptic about their war. They like to pretend like, no, man, war is hell. I mean, mamas running through streets with babies in their arms get killed. That's what war is. War is hell. And when that, you know the video I'm talking about. It's pretty heavy video, but it is a very real depiction of what war is in the modern times and our ability to eavesdrop on it, and actually from our safe laying on our couch watching it on our iPad or something. We can see the horrors of war. On this day in 2007, that went down. Let's do some birthdays. Buonam, buonam, buonam. Today there are birthdays. Buonam, buonam, buonam. We'll start off with a big one. That's right. Here's a very, very big birthday that is occurring on this day, and we got to go way back, way, way back. Let's travel all the way back in time to the year 100 BC. 100. This is a big one. This is a big one. I mean, if you were to like name the 10 most famous people in history, right? You'd have Jesus, you'd have Muhammad, you'd have Buddha, you'd have all the religious leaders, right? You'd have all the top religious guys. But then you'd have this dude, born on this day, 100 BC. Happy birthday, Julius Caesar. That's right. Julius Caesar, you were so impactful that your name itself has come to be synonymous with a ruler, a Caesar, a czar, if you will. That's what the czars of Russia were. They were Caesars. They were czars. Born on this day in the year 100 BC, Julius Caesar. Born on this day in 1817, Henry David Thoreau, of course, the author of Walden, a book about an environmentalist. Oh, he loved the outdoor. I believe, I'm not sure about this, but I believe Henry David Thoreau is the author of the great American rhyme, I wish I was a fish. That's right. I wish I was a fish. That was Henry David Thoreau, born on this day in 1817. No, I'm sorry. That was Don Knotts in The Incredible Mr. Limpet, not Henry David Thoreau. Born on this day in 1908, Milton Berle, American comedian and actor. All right, let's take the piss out of Milton Berle, shall we? That dude was an a-hole. That dude was a super a-hole. Like, the stories about Milton Berle being a D-bag are just, first of all, he wasn't a nice person. All right. He was, what I have come to know over now since 1992 of working in radio and showbiz or whatever, and being in this sort of orbit of funny people. And I don't mean just funny people. I don't mean the guy at the office that you're all like, you need to go to open mic night. No, I mean professionally funny people. I mean, like people who are famous for being funny. Most of them are assholes. There is such an incredible dark side to the comedian that we just never see. Well, I mean, look, I guess I'm not the first to say this. I mean, it's been, comedians have dark side, and it's part of the reason that they get up on stage and crave that instantaneous appreciation for things that they've thought. That's really what a comedian is. It's somebody who needs constant reinforcement of their worth through applauding my thoughts. So a lot of comedians are broken. Man, the stories about Milton Berle and how cruel he was to people and how mean he was also one of these guys who slipped through the very early days of TV. I don't know that Milton Berle was necessarily all that talented. I just think Milton Berle was there when somebody turned the camera on. You know what I mean? They turned the camera on and they went, we need somebody to stand in front of it. And he was like, I'll do it. Anyway, Milton Berle, born on this day in 1908, died in 2002, legendary a-hole in Hollywood. Almost nobody liked him. Everybody feared him because he was super powerful. He was Uncle Milty. For some reason, he was real powerful and people feared him. The only person who didn't fear him, and the person who was most outspoken about how she just completely, Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball. There are some interviews where Lucille Ball is talking about Uncle Milty and how she doesn't appreciate the way Uncle Milty treats people. Born on this day in 1937, here's a fall from grace, huh? I mean, it's interesting. Like in this era of Me Too, the last 5 years or so of Me Too, there's probably a number of people that could fill out the ranks of any list depicting the greatest falls from grace in American history. I mean, I off the top of my head, I think Lance Armstrong, fall from grace, right? I think O.J. Simpson, fall from grace, but atop that list, man, it's got to be Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby celebrating a birthday today, born on this day in 1937. Bill Cosby, noted television icon and rapist, big-time rapist. He liked to drug girls, and they'd pass out, and then he'd get all up on them. He was creepy. And he didn't even need to be creepy because he was Bill Cosby. And I imagine Bill Cosby would not have to work all that hard to get a whole bunch of strange women in his bed, especially during the 60s and 70s when he was a big icon. But no. He didn't have time for all that, so he decided to take a shortcut. And Bill Cosby has fallen from grace. Fallen from grace list. That's interesting. Who else would be on that list? So Lance Armstrong, Bill Cosby, and who was the other one that I said? O.J. Simpson, I think, are the biggest ones. And for you youngsters who don't remember O.J. Simpson before the murder, yeah, no, O.J. Simpson was Mr. He was the likable, non-threatening black athlete that white corporate America could use to sell to suburban America. He was that guy. OJ was beloved. Oh, OJ's such a good guy. They tried to make OJ a star in movies. They tried to make OJ a star in TV. Everybody loved OJ. Yeah, fall from grace. Born on this day in 1937, Bill Cosby. Born on this day in 1951, someone who made a big impact on me. She was quite something in my younger years, and then she just vanished into the ether, never to be seen again. Ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday on this day in 1951, Cheryl Ladd. Cheryl Ladd had the unenviable task of replacing Farrah Fawcett on Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels had debuted to great success. Farrah Fawcett became the breakout star, and after one season, old Jill Monroe. She left, right? Wasn't that Farrah Fawcett? Was she Jill Monroe? Who was Cheryl Ladd? Was she Chris Monroe? Was it Jill and Chris Monroe? They were sisters. So Farrah Fawcett left, and then they brought in Cheryl Ladd to replace Farrah Fawcett. And I don't remember because I was only like 10, and it was just a new hot chick. So I was like, cool, new hot chick. But I don't remember if that was like, I don't know if grown-ups were like, oh, we're not going to accept the new Angel. Because as far as me as a 10-year-old, totally accepted the new Angel. Was totally fine with Cheryl Ladd. In the opening credits, when they introduced the new Angel, like Cheryl Ladd, like, you know, it was... And it was all the angels doing action things. The very first thing that we saw of Cheryl Ladd in the opening credits was her on a yacht in a bikini. Yes, please. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. It was before VCRs and DVRs, so I wasn't able to pause it. But I can tell you at 10 years old, that Cheryl Ladd in a bikini in the opening sequence of Charlie's Angels, that was worth a pause. Didn't get one, though. Cheryl Ladd is interesting in that she had about 2 or 3 years of being famous, and then she just disappeared. It's like they went, hey, Cheryl Ladd is awesome, but look, we've got this new thing. It's called a Heather Locklear, and they just completely dismissed Cheryl Ladd. And then after a couple of years, they were like, Heather Locklear is awesome, but we've got this new thing called Pam Anderson, and they sort of moved Heather Locklear out, and then it was Pam Anderson. And then what? Then we got into this endless string of Carmen Electras and, you know, people like that until we got to Kim Kardashian. Is that the new one? I don't know. Cheryl Ladd, though. I loved her. I had a crush on her. I liked her. Cheryl Ladd. Born on this day in 1951. Born on this day in 1951, Charlie Murphy. Charlie Murphy, he died. He did. Charlie Murphy died in 2017. He's Eddie Murphy's older brother. Is he? Yeah, I think he's his older brother. He's bigger. He's a lot bigger than Eddie Murphy. Never got to interview Eddie Murphy, but interviewed Charlie Murphy a lot when he would come through town and tour and play the comedy shows. Charlie Murphy was a cool guy. He was laid back, you know, he wasn't a dick about anything because, quite frankly, he rectified himself to the idea that he was riding coattails of his superstar brother 30 years ago. So by the time I started to know who Charlie Murphy was and he would come by for interviews, he was awesome. He was great. It's a terrible thing. He passed away. I don't remember what he passed away from. Charlie Murphy, born on this day in 1959. Born on this day in 1962, Julio Cesar Chavez. For a young Pugs enjoying boxing, Julio Cesar Chavez was one of the greats. I was a big Pernell Whitaker fan. I love Sweet Pea. And I remember the fights with Sweet Pea, between Sweet Pea and Julio Cesar Chavez, born on this day in 1962. Born on this day in 1971, Christy Yamaguchi, American figure skater. When you think of Christy Yamaguchi, what is the first thing you think of? Because I think of her as like one of the first. Was she before Michelle Kwan? Like, we had this whole like bunch of like really talented Asian American figure skaters. And I was like, is that a thing? Is that going to be a thing now? Are like Asian Americans going to like dominate figure skating? Was she before or after Michelle Kwan? I don't know. Like, I don't know, like, who's better? Like, I don't know. I don't know enough about figure skating. Like, who's the more accomplished figure skater? Michelle Kwan or this one, the birthday girl? Where's her birthday? Christy Yamaguchi. That's who it was. Okay. I'm guessing Christy Yamaguchi came before Michelle Kwan because Christy Yamaguchi is like my age. So that would put her first. Born on this day in 1975. Happy birthday to American filmmaker, screenwriter, showrunner, absolute genius. One of my favorite people out there working, the great Phil Lord. Lord and Miller. Well, I'll tell you, the first time that I became aware of Lord and Miller was when my son was very young. And one of our favorite animated films was Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. We loved Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Well, that was Lord and Miller. That's where Lord and Miller came from. Lord and Miller then would go on to do the Lego movie. They would go on to do, they did a great TV show. They did a great Last Man on Earth with Will Forte, about the apocalypse and him being the last person on earth. That was really funny. Phil Lord, happy birthday. Big fan of your work. Keep it coming. Born on this day in 1975. Born on this day in 1977, Brock Lesnar. Wrestler. Minnesotan. Not Minnesota nice. Minnesota has a reputation for, people being really nice. Not Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's not a nice guy. He's kind of a mean guy. Happy birthday to Brock Lesnar. He's a bad man. He is a bad, bad man. Born on this day in 1978, Topher Grace. Topher Grace, we know him from that 70s show. He was Eric, right? He was the star of that 70s show, Topher Grace. He turns up from time to time in movies, and he's very good. And you go, oh, that's the kid from that 70s show. He's good. That's it. That's my take on Topher Grace. Happy birthday, Topher Grace. Born on this day in 1978. Born on this day in 1978, umbilical cousins with Topher Grace, somebody who, I don't know, I've never seen her in anything, but she's a big name, I guess. She's famous. I know the name. Michelle Rodriguez. Michelle Rodriguez, American actress. Is she in the Fast and Furious movies? Is that why I don't know her? I don't know. Was she in Girl Fight? Was that where she came from? Because I saw that years ago. I think that might be her. Anyway, born on this day in 1978, Michelle Rodriguez. Born on this day in 1990, someone I absolutely know and someone I absolutely love and someone I absolutely root for, because not only is she a fantastic young actress, but in every interview I've ever seen her in, she is just a delight. Happy birthday, Rachel Brosnahan. She is Mrs. Maisel. Oh, is she a delightful woman? She is just a delightful young lady, Rachel Brosnahan. She's weird. I had the conversation with my son, Mr. Popular. My son, I'm trying to get him to be more. See, here in Texas, there's a lot of kids that aren't really tethered to their ethnicity. Mexican culture in Texas is very good. The Mexican people are doing a really good job of making sure that their kids are proud of their culture, and being proud to be an American is certainly important, but also don't lose what your family was, which is all of your families were immigrants. And so in my family, it's always been kind of important that you acknowledge, celebrate, and honor your Irish ethnicity. So I've been trying to do that with my kid. And we had a conversation. I call him Shanty a lot. Shanty is an Irish term for slovenly, underperforming, being a bit of a loser. And in Irish culture, in the Irish social caste system, which isn't a real thing, but it does exist, there are two kinds of Irish. There's lace Irish. Those are the fancy Irish. And then there's the Shanty Irish. Those are the people who get drunk in bars and start fights. So we were talking about that. Rachel Brosnahan is a great example of lace Irish. She comes from like really big North Shore, Chicago, Winnetka wealth, right? But she comes from a fancy family whose descendants are like, big land barons in Ireland and all that. Happy birthday to Mrs. Maisel. We love her. Everybody's shocked when they find out. Brosnahan. Brosnahan is although I guess Brosnahan could sound like a Jewish name too, because she plays a Jewish girl in New York doing stand-up comedy so well. that everybody thinks that she's Jewish. She's not. Brosnahan is a very Irish name, but also Rachel. Rachel is biblically Jewish. So that could be another one. Anyway, Rachel Brosnan, happy birthday to you. What do you say we move now into the segment of the show that I kind of enjoy the most for very dark and weird reasons? We call it, these are the people who've died. These are the people who have died. On this very day, these are the people that we've lost. Do we care? We decide. Although I am toying with the idea of changing this segment to heaven and hell. Do we think these people went to heaven or hell? I'm still trying to figure out how to do that and how that would work, because I know it sounds like it would. I overthink things. Anyway, on this day in 1804, because we covered it yesterday. Yesterday was the duel. On this day in 1804, Alexander Hamilton succumbed to his injuries. Right? Didn't he die in the duel? I don't know. Yesterday we reported on the duel. Today we're reporting that Alexander Hamilton died. Alexander Hamilton is a guy who, honestly, I was raised in the 70s and the 80s. Educated in the 80s. Alexander Hamilton was not a big player in the founding fathers. Like, if you were to say, who are the founding fathers? I'd be like, okay, so you got, Ben Franklin, you got Thomas Jefferson, you got George Washington, you got, John Adams, you got, those kinds of people. I would have to get to number 14 or 15 before I would mention Alexander Hamilton. But now, because of Broadway, Alexander Hamilton is rocketed to the top. He's the first founding father that people think of. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I just know that that's a little bit different than the way I thought of Alexander Hamilton coming up. Do we care? Yeah, we care. It's Alexander Hamilton. I mean, we care. It's not like you hate him or anything. Dead on this day in 1935, Alfred Dreyfus. Now, this is interesting because we were talking last night during the 9 o'clock show, the Radio Misfits show with myself, James Parker, and E. We do a little game at the end of each show called Whose is Bigger, where we compare people, compare people's numbers, their incomes, whatever. Yesterday's category for Whose is Bigger is whose daddy has the bigger bank account. So we would give you some celebrities and we would say, okay, who comes from greater wealth? Whose is bigger? The bank account of Julia Louis-Dreyfus's daddy or the bank account of Ellie Kemper's daddy, right? But both of them incredibly wealthy families. Both are billionaire families. We talked about Julia Louis-Dreyfus and where her money comes from. And I mentioned how it goes all the way back to the French Revolution. Her family were the bankers that helped finance the French Revolution. They go all the way back. So the Dreyfus Fund is a very respected and long-standing international investment fund that has been around for 100 years. That's where Julia Louis-Dreyfus comes from. Anyway, on this day in 1935, Alfred Dreyfus, he died. He was born in 1859. Who was Alfred Dreyfus? Now, is he the guy that was involved in the Dreyfus Affair, which is a very famous thing in French history? He would have been Julia Louis-Dreyfus's great-grandfather. He was a French artillery officer of Jewish ancestry from Alsace, whose trial and conviction in 1894 on charges of treason became one of the most polarizing political dramas in modern French history. The incident has gone down in history as the Dreyfus Affair, the reverberations from which were felt throughout Europe. It ultimately ended with Dreyfus's complete exoneration. So basically, the Dreyfus Affair, which concerned Julia Louis-Dreyfus's great-great-grandfather, the Dreyfus Affair, he was accused of being a spy and for, being a spy for Germany. But really, he was just set up because he was a high-ranking and influential Jewish officer. And there were some anti-Semitic officers in the French officer class who didn't like the rise of Alfred Dreyfus. So they decided to trump up some charges. It turned out he was completely exonerated because it turned out that those officers' scheme was uncovered and they were all eventually blamed for it. But that is, there you go. There you have it. So Alfred Dreyfus, do we care? Yeah, we care because we love Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And at some point, some part of him is responsible for her. So yeah, we like him. Dead on this day in 1944, Theodore Roosevelt Jr. Nah, I don't think we care. Theodore Roosevelt Jr. Dead on this day in 1973, Lon Chaney Jr. I don't know who he was, but we're going to say we care that he died because he played all those monster movies. So boomers and stuff, they probably care about him. Lon Chaney Jr., actor. Who did he play? Did he play like Frankenstein, the werewolf? I think he was the werewolf. I think it was a whole bunch of these people. Dead on this day in 1979, Minnie Riperton, American singer and songwriter. Minnie Riperton had that song. She had an incredibly high voice. Was that song? I couldn't even do it, but it's a loving you is easy because you're beautiful. Loving you. Yeah, that crazy high voice. Minnie Riperton. She died of breast cancer on this day in 1979. Minnie Riperton is the mother of the beloved Maya Rudolph. Maya Rudolph. So yes, we care. On this day in 1979, Maya Rudolph's mom, pop singer Minnie Riperton, passed away. Dead on this day in 2011, American screenwriter and producer, the one, the only, if you grew up when I grew up, this guy is a god. Ladies and gentlemen, Sherwood Schwartz. Yeah, we care. Of course we care. What did Sherwood Schwartz have to do with? Well, let's see. He produced the Ozzie and Harriet show. That's a big one. He produced My Favorite Martian. He produced Gilligan's Island. He produced the Brady Bunch. He produced Harper Valley PTA, 8182. You remember that? You remember Harper Valley PTA? That was in an era when 70s TV was just taking pop songs and turning them into TV shows. Like Harper Valley PTA was a pop song, and then they turned it into a TV show starring Barbara Eden. Oh, it was terrible. There you go. But Sherwood Schwartz, he Brady Bunch, Gilligan's Island, yeah, we care for those two alone. Sherwood Schwartz died on this day in 2011. Oh, I'm sorry, 2021. Dead on this day in 2020. Here's another one preemptively. Yes, we care. Kelly Preston. I think she also died of breast cancer or some kind of cancer. Kelly Preston. She was, I'm like, wonderful actress. I don't know. Could she act? Was she an actress? I don't know. She always played the hot girlfriend. Everything she was in, she played the hot girlfriend. And then in life, she played the hot. And when I say played, she portrayed the wife of John Travolta. I'm sure they had a very nice, loving relationship. I'm sure that the way people experience love in their lives can be very different. And they had, I believe, a unique marriage, John Travolta and Kelly Preston. But they had children, and they seemed to have a nice life. And John seems to live his own life, and she is now gone. And that's unfortunate. Kelly Preston, dead on this day in 2020. What I'm saying is I think John Travolta has a double sexual life. I think, based on all the things that I've read, I think it's safe for me to say that I can think that based on all of the reports that John Travolta has vehemently denied, I should say. But I don't know. He's an actor. I don't know what to believe from him. Anyway, there you have it. Those are the people who've died. Those are the people who have died. That concludes our previously on segment of today's show, where we take a look back at the events of the day. We take a look back at birthdays, and then we mourn the passing. So now, if we're ready, let's move forward into all the things that are trending today. Trending number one is heat. Oh my God. So done with heat. So first of all, we do the show from the new Comfort Nest studios. These are temporary studios. We're going to be moving back to the guest house at some point. We're just not entirely sure when. And I'm keeping the upstairs air conditioner down, right? Because there's no reason. I'm only up here when we're doing shows. So I had the air conditioning in the upstairs where the studio is in a closet. I had the temperature set at 80. And it's like 100 degrees right now. It is 99 degrees right now in Highland Park, Texas. And up here, it's really hot. It's probably 104 degrees. So I am. But enough about me. Let's talk about the real heat issues. A dangerous heat wave was building across the southwestern United States as millions of people in the South brace for record-breaking and potentially deadly temperatures. Southwestern states are preparing for temperatures in the triple digits, joining Texas and Oklahoma, which are in the middle of a continuing heat wave. The National Weather Service said areas include Arizona, Nevada, and Central and Southern California. They are forecast to be under a heat dome that could trap warmth in the region for up to 2 weeks. Several places could break heat records, meteorologists said. More than 82 million Americans were under an excessive heat warning or a heat advisory as of Wednesday morning. That's right now. All right, it is hot. I am really hot up here. Like, if you notice me being a bit lethargic, it is because I am hot. I am so hot today up here because I failed to fix the air conditioning and at least have it, cranking good when I'm here. I'm not kidding. I may have to take a break during today's show. Yeah, I'm okay, Frankie. Frankie's like, you okay, Pugs? Yeah, I'm okay. It is excessively hot up here right now. May have to go downstairs and just slam a little watermelon juice. All right, there you go. That's heat. That's the number one thing that's trending. That's what everybody's concerned about. How about this one? Inflation. Inflation numbers have been released. I always warn us against these numbers because whoever is releasing them is creating the spin, and you can make it seem any way you want. Although this one is good. I complain all the time about inflation and, oh my God, because honestly, I don't give a shit about all of these high concept economic things that I don't understand. What I understand is how much milk costs. What I understand is how much gas costs. What I understand is how much eggs cost, right? That these are the things that I understand. And inflation, especially for someone like myself who was on such a strict budget, inflation has been absolutely killing me for the last year. Now, it is notable that over the course of the past couple of weeks, I have seen things getting a little bit better, and that's reflected here in the national numbers. Inflation was at 3% in June. That is 3% year to year. That's an incredible drop from a year ago when inflation in June was 9.1. Okay. So a year ago, when we first started screaming about the Dollar Tree raising their prices 25 cents, inflation was at 9.1. Remember, inflation was it went up to 11, I believe, in August of last year. Hold on. Excuse me. I got to sneeze. That was a sneeze. And with me, there will be more coming. So, yeah, remember that was my whole complaint. That was when we kicked off. Inflation had surged to 11, and the Dollar Tree, which sold everything for $1, had raised their prices in order to keep pace with inflation, but they raised their prices 25 cents. Everything they sell is $1. Inflation went up 11. If you're telling me that you're just trying to keep pace with inflation, then you raise all your prices to $1.11. Or you know what? We might even be okay with you going 115. That's fine. They went up a full quarter. They went up one. So that is profiteering off of a poor economic situation for the rest of us, especially when you're a store like that, who your target are people who shop frugally. That's why people who are at the Dollar Tree. So screw that. So that's how I watch inflation. 9%. It was up to 11. It's down to 3. It's down to 3 right now in June, year to year. So whatever that means, you know that the current administration in the White House is running around going, Bidenomics, it's working. They're doing all that. I'm sure the other side will have a different interpretation of the numbers, and they can tell us exactly why this is bad news. Anyway, I'm just telling you what's being reported. Of course, none of this is going to matter because the next topic is Powerball. Powerball. Get your ass out there and buy yourself one of them there Powerball tickets. The estimated Powerball jackpot for tonight's Wednesday drawing is $725 million. It's one of the largest Powerball drawings in history. I believe it's 7th in history. I don't know if I'm gonna guy, but 725. Do I get out of bed for 725? I don't know. I think now the bar has been raised to $1 billion. I think that when no one wins tonight, because I imagine no one's going to win tonight. When no one wins tonight, it'll roll, and it will be $1 billion on the next one. The Powerball jackpot topped an estimated $725 million without a winner on Monday night. It is the 7th largest prize in the game's history, but the prize drops substantially after taxes. There is a mandatory 24% federal withholding before Winners see $1 of the multi-million-dollar jackpot. Yeah, I figured that, whatever. But it's seriously, it's $725 million. Shut up about your taxes. Pay your stupid taxes. You got lucky. You stood in line and you got lucky. Pay your stupid taxes. Jesus. The Powerball jackpot topped an estimated $725 million ahead of Wednesday's drawing. Those winnings dropped substantially after taxes. If you score the winning ticket, there are two choices for the windfall. An estimated $366.2 million lump sum, half. But so that's where we're at now. The reason you take the lump sum, and you take the lump sum, the reason you take the lump sum is because look at this country the last couple of years. I don't trust this country to be around in 20 years. I don't trust this country to be cutting me checks without interruption for the next. You know what I mean? I don't believe that. What? Anything could happen here. No, give me all of that money now. So you take the money now. And the hit you take is instead of winning 725 million, you win 366. Fine. Again, we're talking 366. So now we're going to take what? 24%. So a quarter. So now we're going to take a quarter of that 366. So what is that? So it's like 80. So now we're down to just like, let's just say a paltry 275 million. What can you do with 275 million? One thing that's unique about the lottery is that you can accept it over a 30-year period with annuity payments. No, thank you. You peddle that con game to some other idiot, not me. You're giving me my big bag of money and you're never going to see me again. One thing that's unique about the lottery is that you can accept it in over a 30-year period with annuity payments. Rather than that offers a lot more flexibility in how you pay the taxes. Nah, that's fine. That's fine. I'll pay the taxes. That's fine by me. Rather than a larger upfront tax bill, you can take the annuity. Look, this is just a PR story so that people get convinced to take the annuity payment because that's better for the lottery system. They would rather you take the annuity because at that point, they're not really paying you all this money because, again, anything can happen. We could be invaded by aliens in 5 years, and then where's your money, right? You think the money's still going to flow when, Dark Tar is our overlord? I don't think so. So just take your bag. It's 88 million off of that. If you take the one-time payment, 88 million goes to the IRS. Before winners see a penny of the multi-million-dollar jackpot, there's a mandatory 24% federal withholding that goes to the IRS. The withholding applies to winnings of more than $5,000. Well, you're significantly over $5,000. If you choose the 366.2 million cash option, the 24% withholding automatically reduces your cut about 88 million. Yeah, that's what I said. I was doing math on the fly. I said you're at about 275. However, many taxpayers wrongly assume that they're off the hook after that 24%. That 24% comes off the top, but you're still responsible for the other 13% at some point. What's the other 13? Oh, I see. Here's why. Millions in lottery winnings will push you into the top federal income tax bracket. The 37% tax rate applies to a taxable, because you haven't had time to create all the loopholes and stuff, because you just got it in a windfall. So you don't have like all the rich people tricks so that rich people who make that kind of money every year don't have to pay the kind of tax. You're just going to get hit with that right off the top. All right, I don't care. This is a fantasy, whatever. Close your eyes, dream of what you do with that $275 million, and, let's move on. All right, next, tax tools. There is a story going around about people who use these tax tools and these tax tool companies giving all of your information to Google and Facebook and selling it on you. Tax prep sites gave millions of taxpayers' info to Facebook and Google. About 10 million people type their personal financial information into the H&R Block, Tax Slayer, and Tax Act websites every year to prepare their taxes, trusting the companies to keep their information safe. Instead, as it turns out, the companies shared that personal information with Google and Facebook, some going as far back as 2011. Members of Congress have written in a new report. All right, so there you go. So if you use that stuff, just so you know, H&R Block, they're being accused of selling your information to Google and Facebook. I don't know. Google and Facebook, Google and Facebook seriously know more about me than anyone else on the planet. And you know what? Google and Facebook know more about you than anyone else on the planet. Nobody else on the planet knows what you Google search at 3:30 in the morning. You know what? You know who does? Google. Google knows that. Nobody else knows what kind of thirst traps you're liking on Facebook at midnight. Meta knows. Meta knows what you're into. All right, Zuck and Musk. We've been covering this stupid ass story as it's developed over the last couple of weeks. Zuck and Musk have so basically here's what's happening. Elon Musk was like, I'll fight Mark Zuckerberg. And then everybody was like, wait a second, Musk, you know that he like trains in belts and you know he's in really good shape and he takes jiu-jitsu real seriously. Do you really want to fight him? And then so that kind of turned into, no, I don't want to fight him. Then Zuck launches Threads and it gets even more personal with Musk saying things like Zuck is a cock, you know, stuff like that. And then yesterday, Musk apparently not apparently did. I saw it. Dick measuring contest. Musk was like, let's have a dick measuring contest. To which Zuckerberg then responded with this. Zuckerberg put this picture out. What is going on here, man? Like I said, where is the dignity? Rich people used to have dignity. They were pretentious. They were pompous. They had this faux sophistication about them. There you go. All right. So here's the picture that old Zuck. Here we go. Zuck shared this picture, seemingly to taunt Elon Musk, like, let's go, bitch. There he is. That's Zuckerberg. He's with that's Israel Adonijah, who is one of the greatest. I believe he's from Garland, isn't is he from Garland? I think he might be. Israel is Adonijah there on the left, and then that's Alec Volkanovski. These are two extremely high-level MMA fighters in the UFC, decorated champions. And Zuck is apparently training with them. Let's be honest. Look at Zuck. Zuck is yoked, man. Zuck is taking this stuff seriously. Elon Musk is going to get his ass kicked. Elon Musk doesn't know how to fight. Elon Musk is doughy, and, you know, he jokes about how he doesn't work out and all that kind of stuff. Zuck is a different kind of thing here. Now, I'm not saying that this means that Zuck is better than Musk. I'm saying that if they're going to fight, I'm going with the guy who is obviously training and taking it seriously and who's yoked, man. He's yoked and he's younger. Look at him. I'm shocked. If I had all the money that Zuckerberg had and I was, you know, a little bit touched in the brain as Zuckerberg is, I might not be that focused on, you know, these kinds of things, but he is. I don't know. There you have it. So, all right, hold on. I got to reboot real quickly. I'll be right back. I'm going to freeze for like a second. Hold on. And we're back. I have to do that every time that I share something. It's really crazy. I have to do it every time I share something, or else the chat room goes away from my screen for the rest of the show. Unless I reboot, then the chat room will come back. See, I don't see any chat room now, so I'm just going to put test. There I go, and there I am. Okay, so I see that the chat room is back up and working. Let's see here. What do we have? Oh, here's a list. We like to do these lists. This is trending. The most stressed and the least stressed cities in America. Oh, do you live in a stressful city? Where did Dallas turn out? That's where we're doing the show from. Where did Chicago turn out? Hey, you know, you watch Fox News. You think that the people of Chicago are under immense amounts of stress. What with all the flying bullets and mayhem that occurs there? That's not true, by the way. It's absolutely not true. And it's reflected here in this latest study. These are the study. This was done by, who did this? Who did this? Somebody, some group did this study. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Zagat's. Oh, there you go. The Zagat guides. Okay. So, you know, the people who do all the traveling and stuff like that. Zagat in collaboration with Wallet Hub. Okay, is who put this out. All right, so here we go. Let's do, first of all, let's do the top Should we do the top 10? Let's do the top 10 most stressed out cities in America. Okay, these are cities where if you live in them, you are stressed out, baby. Let me tell you. Number 10, Augusta, Georgia. I don't know why they're all stressed out. Augusta, Georgia seems, isn't that where the Masters is? That seems very nice. Number 9 on the list of most stressed out American cities, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis is terrible. St. Louis is just yikes. Number 8 on the list of most stressed out cities, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Never been, wouldn't know. Number 7 on the list of most stressed out city, Memphis, Tennessee. Love Memphis, Tennessee. You can have a really good time in Memphis, Tennessee. Number 6 on the list of most stressed out cities in the United States, Shreveport, Louisiana. Shreveport. Now we're into the top 5. Top 5 most stressed out cities in America. Number 5, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Number 4, Birmingham, Alabama. Number 3, Baltimore, Maryland. Number 2, Detroit, Michigan. And the number 1 most stressed out city in these here United States, Cleveland, Ohio. All right, now let's find the least stressed out cities. Are you ready? Okay, we got to go all the way down to the bottom. Least stressed out city. I'll give you the bottom 5 places where you can live pretty much stress-free. The bottom 5. I don't want to live in any of these places. All right, here's what you got. Lincoln, Nebraska, Fargo, North Dakota, Overland Park, Kansas, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Fremont, California, and South Burlington, Vermont is the least stressed out city in America. All right, let's look for some of the other cities. Let's see where some of our more high-profile cities come in. Where's New York? Where's Chicago? Where is Dallas, where we reside right now? Let's see here. Milwaukee comes in at number 19. Vegas comes in at 21. San Antonio is the most stressed out city in Texas. San Antonio comes in at number 24. Washington, D.C. comes in at number 31. The number 31 most stressed out city in America. Number 32 is Chicago, Illinois. Chicago comes in at 32. Dallas, Texas comes in at 35. Most stressed out city in America. Where's New York? I don't see New York. Where is New York? Hold on. Seems like people in New York would be stressed out, right? I got Newark, New Jersey at 25. New York is 38. Wow, that's interesting. Guys, I got to take a quick break. Got to handle something that I hear happening downstairs. I will be right back. Please hang with the show. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I had to do something about the temperature situation that we had going on here. The dog was in here with me, and she was like, her tongue was hanging out. So I had to do some changes. I had to run downstairs. I had to turn the air condition. I'm trying to conserve the energy because all of this, and we live in Texas, so it's just do your part. Just what, don't needlessly be running shit when it's 100 degrees, because I don't want to have to sleep in my car tonight, right? So let's just try and keep the energy flowing here. So as I said, I had turned off the air conditioning upstairs because we're only up here when we're doing the show, and I'd forgotten to turn it back on in the morning. So I had to run downstairs, turn the air conditioning downstairs to a reasonable number, 78, and then come here and kind of get the air conditioning up going in here. So that's what I had to do. And I also had to let the dog out. The dog was not loving it. The dog was laying on the floor with her tongue hanging out going, why are we sitting here? It's like 110 degrees in this closet. Why are we sitting here doing this? It's better now. So let's move forward with the show. I do apologize. I appreciate you indulging me. I just needed to get it a little bit more comfortable. And I can tell you right now, holy cow, does it feel nicer in here already. Let's see here. So we went through the most stressed out cities. How about this one? We're calling this one Vegas, baby. Did you hear about this? This story went viral. It is a video that is, we're going to take a look at the video. But first, let me give you the story. This occurred over the weekend in Las Vegas. Some people are just not made for Vegas. Some people, some people are just idiots. Some people are just like, Vegas, there are no rules. No, shut up, stupid. There are still rules. It's America. You can't act like a complete a-hole. Yeah, you can get drunk and you can say things you're going to be embarrassed of in the morning. It's Vegas. Nobody will hold it against you. You can gamble. You can blow a lot of money. You can even win a lot of money. But what you can't do is just be that idiot who's never been to Vegas before and has no idea how to behave in civilized society. And yes, I am calling Vegas on a Saturday night civilized society. I recognize how ridiculous that is. A naked man dances on poker table and then runs through strip casinos after starting a fight. New York man has been arrested after dancing naked at a strip casino. New York man was arrested Sunday night after he was accused of gyrating naked on a poker table in a Las Vegas strip casino. Brian Danilzak, 34, was jailed on 5 counts of indecent exposure and 1 count each of battery and disorderly conduct. Metropolitan Police Department officers first started searching for Danilzak around 11:30 p.m. Sunday after he was suspected of being involved in a fight at the Flamingo, according to an arrest report from the department. The man who was attacked said that Danilzak was wearing nothing but sweatpants and had brown hair and a beard. 20 minutes later, remember this is an attack at the Flamingo. 20 minutes later, a man matching Danilzak's description was found at Harrah's, but without the sweatpants. Police said that he had climbed up on the poker table naked and began flaunting his genitals. He flipped around and showed his backside before 3 security guards pulled him down. Police later reviewed video that showed Danilzak taking off his pants at the Link Hotel before running through the Link and then into Harrah's naked. He appeared to be in an altered mental state, but was cooperative, police wrote. Well, that's good. Hey, man, you just went a little nuts in Vegas. He posted bond and is scheduled to appear in court on August the 17th on the indecent exposure and disorderly conduct charges. Okay, so let's watch the video. Let's see what this guy did. Again, not everybody can handle Vegas. Here's an example of somebody who, well, what are you going to do? He went a little bit far. All right, here, let's, this comes courtesy of TMZ, I believe. Yes, it sure does. There we go. That's the familiar TMZ noise. We like that noise. Gung, gung, gung. All right, again, we just heard the story, so we know that he started a fight. Oop, hold on, let's make it bigger. There we go. All right. So we know that he started a fight in one hotel. We know that he then ran to the Link where he took his pants off. He was wearing only sweatpants when he started the fight at the Flamingo. Then he ran into the Link Hotel where at some point he took off his pants, and then he ran naked into Harrah's where this occurred. Here you go. This is the video now. Let's watch. All right, there he is. Hold on. All Oh, there he is. Okay, so we see him. He's up there. He's dancing naked on the table. Looks like a full house. Everybody's filming. Look at him go. Oh, dang. Ugly. He's trying to high five people. People won't high five. Oh, here they come. Here comes the buzz. Here comes the party boys. Oh, yeah, look at him. He's doing this butthole. He's doing it all. This guy has a wife. He was in town for a bachelor party. Oh, here he goes. And that's how it's going to end. There it is. And now he's getting wrestled to the ground. But they said other than this, he was cooperative, which is not, oh, they're really, he's fighting. He is. All right, so he was in town for a bachelor party in Vegas. Hold on. Got to freeze up for 1 second. Hold on. Be right back. And I believe we're back. Okay, so he was in town for a bachelor party, and he was also in town. His wife was there. Like, he went to Vegas for a bachelor party, but his wife was there and his dad was there. So I don't know what's happening. They say that he was obviously slipped some kind of a drug. Slipped. He was in Vegas for a bachelor party. I'm guessing he probably willingly did. Nobody slips. Everybody's getting slipped drugs. Do you know how many times as a younger man I'd been at a party just hoping somebody would slip me a drug? People don't slip. If you're not a beautiful woman, right, who's, in hanging out with a bunch of sharky creeps, nobody's slipping you any drugs. Nobody's giving you drugs for free. Nobody is that invested in you having a good time. This dude partied, couldn't handle it, embarrassed himself. His wife is beautiful too. They showed his wife. There was a New York Post article. She's beautiful. I'm like, how does this guy? Very embarrassing. Anyway, Vegas, it's not for everybody. That should be their new. That should be their new slogan. The new Vegas ads should show that guy dancing on the table. It should be Las Vegas. It's not for everybody. Vegas, baby. There you go. Miami mayor is trending. I wanted to mention this. The Miami mayor is trending because people are starting to notice that ever since he declared his intention to run for the presidency, he's got a lot more money. And this is what I always say with these people. Do you remember we announced when this Miami mayor dude, when he announced he was running for president as a Republican? I'm like, he's gonna collect money. He's going to try and tap into a group of people that he can get a lot of money out of, and he's going to have a war chest, and then he's going to say he's not running for president anymore, and that war chest is going to go into a PAC that he's going to fund, and he's going to be in charge of it. And the mayor of Miami makes nothing. He makes very little money. So that's why people are now starting to notice what's going on with the Miami mayor. Miami mayor doubles his wealth, buys a boat with profits. This is all like within the last month. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez makes $126,000 a year working for the city. Okay, that's more than I thought. I assumed that like the mayor of Miami made like 80 grand, right? He makes 126. And because again, remember, Miami is not the big, this is like a tiny little place. This is not, I know we think of Miami, they got pro sports teams, but Miami's all screwed up. It's like the city of Miami. There's like Miami. There's Miami Beach. I think Miami Beach is actually the bigger. I don't know. Miami Beach is what we always think of when we think of Miami, but then there's also Miami. I don't know. Whatever. Suarez was able to pay off almost all of a $1.7 million debt in recent months, according to regulatory filings. He also acquired new real estate properties and a $235,000 boat. So running for president pays off. This guy has no chance in hell of winning, but they're starting to notice, hey, how did this guy all of a sudden start buying all this stuff after he announced for president? Because it's a game, people. Stop giving these people any of your attention. It's a game, and certainly don't give them any of your money. Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill is trending again. He's been trending the last couple of days. We brought this story up yesterday. It was breaking last evening. Here's more details about it. Apparently, Jonah Hill got dragged over the weekend for sending a very controlling text to an ex-girlfriend, Sarah Brady. Controlling whatever. I think he was looking to get out of the relationship. I think Jonah Hill was like, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore, so I'm going to give her an ultimatum that she is never going to accept, and then I'm going to be able to walk away with this from this relationship without feeling like a heel who broke her heart, right? That's what I think he was doing. I mean, but I also, by the same token, I also think Jonah Hill's an a-hole. Like, he's obviously an a-hole. That's his whole brand. He's kind of a D-bag. Anyway, he's now being accused of I don't know that he's necessarily being accused of sexual assault. He's being accused of, so there was this girl from like a Zoe 101 show. She was 16 years old. Justin Long was having a party. Is Justin Long the guy from Scrubs? I think it is. Justin Long was having a party. And just so we're clear on this, at Justin Long parties, you can run into 16-year-old girls. You know, that's kind of weird, right? But let's just move past it. Because that's not the target of the story. Jonah Hill was at this party, and apparently this 16-year-old Zoe 101 girl was looking for a cigarette. So Jonah Hill said, I can give you a cigarette. Jonah Hill was in his 20s at the time. And he took her outside to his car, gave her a cigarette, and then on their way back in, he pushed her up against a wall and tried to make out with her. She was 16. So that's the latest Jonah Hill story. He was like 24 years old. She was 16. I don't know what a 16-year-old, again, this is like the Kevin Spacey, Anthony Rapp story, right? Like, so Anthony Rapp claimed that Kevin Spacey raped him at a New York City Broadway party on a Saturday night in 1995, right? Whatever. It was like, Anthony Rapp was like 14 years old. So can we ask the additional question that there are certainly valid questions that need to be answered, and they were answered. They were adjudicated in a New York City courtroom. Kevin Spacey was absolved of all the charges that Anthony Rapp brought. But can we ask the question, what was a 14-year-old doing at a Manhattan Saturday night Broadway party? I mean, I don't care if you're a parent who wants their kid to be working in Broadway, that's fine. You can't go to parties on Saturday night. Certainly not without you. No mom, 14 years. Anyway, so this is also the same question that I ask here in Hollywood. What is going on at Justin Long's party where he's inviting 16-year-old girls and serving them alcohol and, drugs and exposure to all kinds of Hollywood debauchery? The hell is that? Nobody's, we're going to focus on the fact that Jonah Hill tried to kiss her. That's also weird. But what was she doing there? What was a child doing at a Hollywood party? She's a child. I don't care if she wanted a cigarette. She's a 16-year-old Nickelodeon star. And she's hanging out with, the kid from Superbad and Scrubs. That just seems odd to me. Pete Rose is trending today. Pete Rose is trending because Major League Baseball is, the eternal question. Is Pete Rose ever going to get into Baseball Hall of Fame? Well, no, he is not, at least not according to the latest response from Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball. Pete Rose is still going to be stuck serving his lifetime suspension from Major League Baseball. Let's see here. Sports gambling has been embraced full on by nearly every major sport in the United States, but the Major League Baseball stance on Pete Rose has not and reportedly will not change. Per USA Today's Bob Nightingale, Rob Manfred says that Major League Baseball's relationship with gambling has no effect on the Pete Rose suspension. Pete Rose has violated what is rule number 1 in baseball. The consequences of that are in the rule. We continue to abide by our own rules. Manfred said, where's the exact quote? Let me find you the exact quote from Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred. Anyway, he's not getting back in. The question was asking, what do I think of the Pete Rose being suspended from Major League Baseball, a lifetime suspension? I've evolved on it. I've evolved on it in great deal because of the new way we look at gambling and sports wagering. I used to think, yeah, he's a dirtbag. He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. But I had a very youthful and idealistic view of what the Hall of Fame was supposed to be. And back then, with my pie-eyed idealism, I looked at the Baseball Hall of Fame as being like a hall of justice, like the Justice League of America. These men who are in this Hall of Fame are beyond reproach. These men are the icons, the gods of this most American of games, baseball. That's how I looked at it. I was a moron. Now, as an adult, I look at the Hall of Fame as these were the freaks who were the best in their era. And if you have to have some kind of an asterisk on the plaque that shows what Barry Bonds did or what Mark McGwire did or Sammy Sosa, so be it. That's fine. I have faith in future generations of baseball fans to be able to understand that things were different in different eras. The steroid era, the dead ball era, all of that stuff. There were different eras. So maybe we do need to have asterisks. But Pete Rose should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose, when he was a player, was the embodiment of what a team player was. Pete Rose was baseball for a good 20 years. He was the icon of the sport. So this whole idea that, he did something so terrible by gambling. Ty Cobb probably killed a man. Ty Cobb is a first ballot, first class Major League Baseball Hall of Famer. Ty Cobb was a insane racist, and he probably killed a man. He was also guilty of any number of other charges. People think he was a rapist. Ty Cobb was a terrible, terrible human being, and nobody ever brings that up. There are all kinds of players throughout the history of baseball who, if we really wanted to turn over stones, we would find out that they were far worse representations of baseball than what Pete Rose is. Pete Rose is a dirtbag. Pete Rose is white trash, dirtbag, suddenly got rich and famous, did not handle it, still acted like a big dumb hillbilly. That's who Pete Rose is. But he's still the best player I've ever seen. Certainly one of the best players I've ever seen. I can say that because one of my earliest memories of Major League Baseball was those big red machine teams with Johnny Bench and Pete Rose. Those were like my earliest introduction to baseball. The Big Red Machine, the Pittsburgh Pirates. My own team sucked, so I didn't really get to watch them. So anyway, there you go. Major League Baseball has made their yearly announcement, that they are not even remotely wavering on the decision of Pete Rose. Pete Rose is still banned from baseball. How about, now I don't understand why this is, but this guy is being described as disgraced. Former Fox News anchor and correspondent. I remember him from his days with CNN, Ed Henry. Y'all know who Ed Henry is? Apparently, Ed Henry got himself a DUI. He doesn't work at Fox News anymore. What happened? Ed Henry get Me Too'd or something? What don't I know about Ed Henry? Why are they describing him as disgraced? Here's the headline. Oh my, how far some fall. Ed Henry's mugshot goes viral as former Fox News correspondent is arrested on a DUI charge in Florida. Of course, it's Florida. A mugshot of disgraced Why disgraced? Disgraced because no. He was disgraced beforehand, right? That's what this would imply, that he was disgraced before the mugshot. A mugshot of disgraced, not disgraced because no. So what did he do? What did Ed Henry do? Did he get Me Too'd or something? He's not like that famous that I would totally remember the day that he got Me Too'd. A mugshot of disgraced former Fox News anchor Ed Henry circulating online has gone viral after the 51-year-old was arrested for allegedly driving under the influence in Florida last month. The picture prompted one user to comment, "Oh my, how far some is fine." I don't care. I don't know. I am just interested in, why is he disgraced? What did he do? I don't know. Frank says that Ed Henry got Me Too'd. Well, all right. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Speaking of football, this is fun. Hard Knocks. I love Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks last year, or maybe it was the year before they did it. I think maybe it was the year before. Hard Knocks is the annual football camp, training camp docuseries aired on HBO for the past 20, 25 years, something like that. And I love Hard Knocks. I have seen absolutely every season of Hard Knocks. I love football. This is a really great way. Hard Knocks pioneered this way of creating content that could appeal to a non-sports fan, but also content in appealing to that non-sports fan could turn them into a fan of the sport. That's what Hard Knocks did. A terrific example of that in more recent times is Netflix series Drive to Survive. Drive to Survive, which is the award-winning and much beloved Formula One reality series that airs on Netflix. That Formula One series, Formula One is one of the fastest rising sports in the world, and it's almost entirely due to how popular Drive to Survive was, not with Formula One fans, because there weren't a lot of Formula One fans when that show debuted, but among people who are just looking for something to watch. And they realize that this is a story. This is more about the people. There are things I can get interested in. And over the course of watching the series, I might actually suddenly become a fan of Formula One. So many people have had that experience with Drive to Survive. Well, that's what Hard Knocks did. Hard Knocks was great for growing the sport in the 90s. And I mean, NFL football is without a doubt the largest, the biggest, the most bankable sport in America. And Hard Knocks isn't solely responsible for that, but it certainly is one of those kinds of things that the NFL did better than anybody else in promoting their game in non-traditional ways. Now, I've seen every episode of Hard Knocks. And now they're doing an in-season Hard Knocks. Like I said, I think this is going to be the third year of in-season Hard Knocks. It's where they do one edition of Hard Knocks, which follows a team throughout their preseason. And then they'll, like in week 8 or something, right? They'll start a new series now. It's called In-Season, where they follow a team and they're pushed to the playoffs or whatever. So now they got to fill 2 of these slots. Who was going to be on Hard Knocks this year? It was a big question because teams don't want to be on Hard Knocks. I know that fans love when their teams are on Hard Knocks. Love it. Cowboys are one of the exceptions. The Cowboys, because of who the Cowboys are, and America's team, and come on, go Cowboys, and Jerry Jones loving the attention, and Jerry Jones and his unique belief that he can control the media narrative. Unlike other team owners. Other team owners are like, nope, we're not going to let them have the narrative. Jerry Jones says, I'll take that narrative and I'll drive it right down their throats. So the Cowboys have been on Hard Knocks a number of times. My team, the Bears, have never been on Hard Knocks. Never. And not because they haven't been asked. They've been asked every year. They're a major market with a massive following. It's the family, the McCaskey family, does not want cameras inside. It's just a thing. It's always been a thing. So this year, Hard Knocks was going to lean on something that they'd rarely leaned on. And that is, because of the deal with the NFL, Hard Knocks can force franchises to participate in Hard Knocks. Now they want franchises to step up and say, we want to do it this year. But if that's not the case, they can force you to participate. And this was one of those years where they were down to forcing teams to participate. So what are the criteria? How do they force a team to participate in Hard Knocks? Well, you cannot force a team. Here, I'll give you the thing. Okay, the league's criteria, the NFL's criteria for teams to be eligible for Hard Knocks eliminates teams with first-year head coaches. So if you have a first-year head coach, you don't have to be forced to do Hard Knocks, okay? Okay, the league's criteria for teams to be eligible for Hard Knocks eliminates teams with first-year head coaches, teams that qualified for the playoffs the past 2 seasons, and teams that appeared in the past 10 seasons. So if you've got a first-year head coach, you can't be forced to do Hard Knocks. If you've made the playoffs the previous 2 seasons, you're doing something right. Hard Knocks doesn't want to upset that. You don't have to do Hard Knocks. Or if you have been on Hard Knocks in the previous 10 seasons, you can't be forced to do it again. So somebody else has got to be. 4 teams were possibilities for this year's Hard Knocks based on the criteria of forcing teams to participate. Those 4 teams were the New York Jets, the Chicago Bears, the New Orleans Saints, and the Washington Commanders. Hard Knocks is forcing the Jets. That's right. Hard Knocks is forcing the New York Jets to be the focus of, and it makes a lot of sense. It's honestly, it's the one My team, the Bears, they have for the past 5 years, they've been doing their own version of Hard Knocks, which, is kind of interesting. It's just a video series on YouTube called 1920 Chicago Bears Drive, or no, 1920 Hallis Drive or something. I don't know, whatever, but it's a reality show. So I get my behind the scenes reality and my personal sub stories on players and all that. I get that. I get that from the Chicago Bears YouTube channel, but I wanted them to be on. I thought they could have been forced. I thought they could have been forced because of Justin Fields and because, the league is so interested in him and, he's such an exciting young player. I thought that might be a thing. But as soon as Aaron Rodgers signed with the Jets, I was like, okay, all right, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers in New York. That's the story. Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks, the Jets last appeared on Hard Knocks in 2010. So there you go. The Detroit Lions were on Hard Knocks last season. The Arizona Cardinals were featured on season before that. The Chicago Bears have never appeared on Hard Knocks. Never. It's been a thing. Been a thing for me because I wanted them to. You want your team to, but we've got such bizarre ownership. We just, the person that makes all the decisions for the Chicago Bears is literally a 101-year-old lady. She's adorable, but all right, there you go. There you have Hard Knocks. Also today here, this is we'll spend a little bit of time on this one. This was a big story. I love my TV. The Emmy nominations were released this morning. We've got a whole list of the shows, the movies, all the things that are being lauded at this year's Emmy nominations, the 2023 Emmy Award nominations. Let's go through them, people. I'll give you my early picks. I'm very big on TV. I love, there's nothing that I like better than the hour before I fall asleep at night where I get in bed and I put something on and I really watch something. That is my happy spot. So I have seen a lot of these shows. I like to think that I'm pretty up on what we know as peak TV, this era of peak TV, the gold standard. I think we live in the golden era of television. I don't know that we are still climbing to the peak of the golden era of television. I think we might be on the decline now. Certainly with the writers' strike and now a looming actors' strike joining the writers, I think there's going to be a lot of bad TV coming in the next 6 months. But right now, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate what we can still agree is a fairly good era of TV. The greatest, some might say. All right, here we go. The Emmy Awards. The Emmy Awards for, let me, I don't want to read all these. I just want to go through the list. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, downloading, spinning. So how's your day going? My day's going all right. Can I tell you that it feels absolutely amazing in here now? I told you earlier it was like super hot. It was awful. But now I took a little break. I turned up the air conditioning. It feels great in here. So that's better. I don't feel like I'm going to pass out. So we can really dig into these Emmy nominations. All right, let's see here. What do we have? All right, here we go. Here are the nominations for best, what is this? What is it? Best drama series. All right, here we go. Best drama series. I don't know what any of these are on because they're not telling me. Well, I know what some of them are on. How about best drama series? Andor. All right, Andor. What is that? What is Andor? Is Andor one of the Star Wars things? I don't want nothing to do with Andor, all right? I don't want nothing to do with any of these Star Wars series. Number 2 for nominated for Best Drama Series, Better Call Saul. Oh, Better Call Saul's final season. Ooh, you better believe there's going to be some love heaped at Better Call Saul. Also nominated in the category of Best Drama Series, how about The Crown? Netflix's The Crown. I love The Crown, but I'm sorry. Right now, we're looking at Better Call Saul as being the top vote getter. The Crown is tremendous television. Nobody denies that The Crown is great TV. But it's, Better Call Saul. The Crown has won a whole bunch of stuff. It's Bob Odenkirk. Hollywood loves Bob Odenkirk. Vince Gilligan. They love Vince Gilligan. I think Better Call Saul is still the top choice here in drama series. House of Dragon. HBO, House of the Dragon. This is the This is the Game of Thrones prequel. House of the Dragon started out really slow. It actually was pretty good. I rewatched the entire first season. Pretty good. House of Dragon is probably going to win a whole bunch of awards throughout its run, but not this year because it's Better Call Saul so far. The Last of Us on HBO Max. Very good series. Nope, not going to get more votes than Better Call Saul. Now we got a problem. Succession. Ladies and gentlemen, the final season of Succession, best drama series. We've got another show. Ooh, man. So this really just depends on who the Emmy voters are siding with. Will they side with the traditional cable operator in FX and Better Call Saul, or will they side with HBO? They've often sided with HBO. I'm thinking Succession. I'm thinking Succession is going to be the one that knocks off, or at least gives Better Call Saul a good run for its money. Unless, of course, The White Lotus, also an HBO show. The White Lotus was so good this year, guys. So here's what could happen. So Better Call Saul, nominated for Best Drama Series. Better Call Saul is it's an emotional pick. It's the people love that show. Succession is also a show that people love. People, the show is so good. That show is so good. Oh, it's such elite television. That whole thing about Succession. But here's the problem. People also say the same things about The White Lotus. The people who say that shit about Succession say the same thing about White Lotus. White Lotus is not in its last season. White Lotus is a show that needs to get some heat because it is tremendous. So my point is this. Better Call Saul might be back into the lead here with voters because Succession and White Lotus might cancel each other out. I think they might. Yellow Jackets on Showtime is the last one. Does not have a chance. All right, here we go. Who am I picking for best drama series? Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul is going to walk away with the win for best drama series at this year's Emmys. Why? Because I believe that the voters for Succession and White Lotus will cancel each other out. Comedy series. What's the best comedy series on television? This is one I take very serious. Ironically so, because it is the category of comedy. How about Abbott Elementary? Everybody loves it. Oh, it's so good. It's on television. It's on NBC. I've still never seen it. I don't know. Quinella Brunston, right? Isn't that who we're supposed to know from that show? I don't watch network TV. All right? It's peak TV. I don't have to watch ABC, NBC, or CBS anymore. But whatever. People love that show. I've never seen it. As a matter of fact, if you're noticing a little bit of, resentment towards that show from me, it's because I'm starting to feel like I'm never going to watch it. I admit that, there's people who say that's a good show and it wins awards and all that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I should watch that. But I've been saying that for 6 months and I don't want to watch it. It doesn't look like something I want to watch. So there you have it. I'm never going to watch Abbott Elementary. It might be good, but I'm never going to watch it. It's like Scrubs. Scrubs is the same way. You got to watch Scrubs. I've never seen an episode of Scrubs. I don't know why. The first time I saw Scrubs, I went, this looks stupid. And even though it turned out not to be stupid, because a lot of people I respect say they like Scrubs. So I don't think it's stupid anymore. It's just I can't bring myself to watch it. You would think that I would learn my lesson because I went through this about 12 years straight with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was on for 12 years before I finally went, okay, I'll watch an episode. And as soon as I watched that first episode, I'm like, I can't believe that I've got 12 more seasons to catch up on because that's the funniest sitcom in the history of TV. And it never won any Emmy Award. All right, Abbott Elementary. Best comedy series nominated at the Emmys this year. How about Barry? HBO's Barry. Barry went out with a bang, literally. Spoiler alert. Barry is so good. I can't believe what Barry ended what? Because Bill Hader is just going to tease us with shit. I'm getting tired of Bill Hader, who I love. I'm getting tired of Bill Hader doing these amazing things for like 2 or 3 seasons, losing interest, yet at the same time, we're all hooked. But he loses interest and he moves on. He did it with Documentary Now. the IFC series, then the mock documentary comedy series that he created with Fred Armisen. He produced and acted in and wrote two of the most entertaining seasons of television I have ever seen. The first two seasons of documentary now. The ones where Bill Hader was front and center. And then he left. And the focus on Barry. And then Barry becomes just amazing TV. And Barry goes, what was 4 seasons? And Bill Hader's like, yeah, I'm done. This is going to be the last season of Barry. I'm like, why? You could ride Barry out for... Anyway, you know what, Bill? Stick with something. We love you. You're immensely talented. You bring me such joy. Would you stick with something? All right. So we've got Abbott Elementary and Barry competing for Best Comedy Series. We also have nominated at this year's Emmy Awards for Best Comedy Series, The Bear. Ah, boy. I have, all right, so I love The Bear. I guess The Bear is an FX series too, right? I think The Bear is on FX, but nobody watches it on FX. Everybody watches The Bear on Hulu. Because who the hell watches FX, right? Who the hell watches appointment TV in 2023? The Bear is something that shows up on Hulu and it says, watch the whole season, and we watch it. And everybody who has watched The Bear is going to tell you, because I'm telling you, it's like a cult. I've noticed it. It's a cult of people. The people who actually watch The Bear, it's almost like Ted Lasso was. Remember how weird Ted Lasso was? How it was just all these people going, Ted Lasso's so good. That's what The Bear is now. The Bear has sort of replaced Ted Lasso as the show that everybody loves. Everybody is talking about how this is such a great show. And it's not at all like Ted Lasso. Actually, it is. It is. I was thinking about this the other day. It is not at all like Ted Lasso, while also being very similar to Ted Lasso. And what I mean is, in Ted Lasso, everybody seems to be kind of jovial and kind-hearted and a bit silly. And sometimes, you know, they're buffoonish and all of that kind of stuff. That's Ted Lasso. But there is this kindness, there's this thoughtfulness that runs through the core of Ted Lasso, which is what a lot of people were drawn to. The Bear is not that. The characters on The Bear are real. They're flawed. They're assholes. You know, they're con men. One of them selling drugs. You know, they're not like, you know, this sort of idealized sitcom idea of the Ted Lasso characters. The Bear characters are a little bit more gritty. But, and here's where I think that there is definitely a through line. The people on The Bear are also good people. And they're thoughtful and they're empathetic. And there are these moments where these people who are obviously flawed and jerks have these self-realization moments, right? Where they apologize for things and you see people make mistakes and then people learn. I don't know. Anyway, The Bear, I absolutely love The Bear. And we're looking at Abbott Elementary and we're looking at Barry. And I think that there's a tide growing behind The Bear. I think The Bear is your favorite right now of the so far nominated series for Emmys, Best Comedy Series. How about Jury Duty? What, a comedy? I don't know what jury. Do you know what jury? I don't know what Jury Duty is. I don't know. I can't opine on Jury Duty. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Oh my God! Again, a final season. Oh God! Seriously, you're gonna make me choose between The Bear and the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? I'm going The Bear. I love the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I love it. I love Rachel Brosnahan. I love Susie. I love everything about the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I love the last season. I love the last episode. Tony Shalhoub. Come on. Who doesn't love Tony Shalhoub? But The Bear is better. The Bear is better. Also nominated for Best Comedy Series at the Emmys. How about Only Murders in the Building? Only Murders in the Building. It was cute for a couple of episodes. Gotta be honest, I didn't even make it through the first season. I was like, yeah, this is cute. I watched maybe 5 episodes, and 2 of those episodes were just me hoping to see Selena Gomez in another really cute outfit. She dressed so cute in that. Honestly, you know, that's pretty much the reason I hung with it, just to see what Selena Gomez was going to be wearing next, because she is adorable in that. But screw that show. Yeah, I can't get into it. It's kind of like Only Murders in the Building. No, thank you. Nominated here, another final season series. Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso nominated Best Comedy Series. Nope. Final season of Ted Lasso was not great. Ted Lasso is a fine series. It was never able to reproduce what it did in its first season. So move off into the sunset, Ted Lasso. It was nice knowing you. And finally, the Netflix series Wednesday, which is the Addams Family thing, right? With Wednesday Addams. Wednesday. All right, so there you have it. So what am I saying? Best comedy series, my pick to win best comedy series as of right now, it's going to be The Bear. The Bear. Okay. What did I pick for best? I went best drama series at the Emmys. I picked Better Call Saul to win because I think White Lotus and Succession are going to cancel each other out, paving the way for Better Call Saul to win. And I now think I've now picked the comedy category, which I believe is going to be The Bear. I'm having trouble. I'm having some difficulty maneuvering this page. I do apologize. Thank you, Variety. Limited series. All right, here's what these like mini series. We used to call these mini series. So best limited series that appeared over the past year, nominated for Emmy Awards. Beef. I don't know what this is. This is something on Netflix I've seen. I didn't click on it, so I don't know. Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. I think this is gonna win. I thought it was horrible. I only got through like 3 or 4 episodes before I went, nope, no, thank you. But Dahmer, really, really big. Probably your favorite to win. Amazon Prime gave us Daisy Jones and the Six. I enjoyed that. Not great, not an award-worthy show, but I enjoyed Daisy Jones and the Six. Fleischman in Trouble. I believe that's a Hulu series. I have not seen that yet. And then we got more Star Wars bullshit. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Right. So my pick for the Emmy Award this year will go to, in limited series, Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, even though I didn't particularly like it. But it got so much buzz. And Ryan Murphy is just, how about lead actor in a drama series? Let's run through these. Jeff Bridges in The Old Man. I watched a couple episodes of The Old Man. I never went back. There's nothing wrong with The Old Man. I just never went back. I love Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges! How about lead actor in a drama series for Brian Cox? Fuck off. Come on, Logan Roy, Succession. How good was Brian Cox? How about also from Succession, Kieran Culkin? That's right, the little brother of Macaulay as Roman Roy. Sexually perverted, mentally broken, silver-spooned, rich asshole. Oh, was Kieran Culkin amazing as Roman Roy in Succession. All right, let's stop here. Take a deep breath. Let's distance ourselves from the other 3 names we've just mentioned. All worthy names for awards, but I think this is who's going to get it. Ladies and gentlemen, all bow down to the great Odenkirk. Bob Odenkirk, Better Call Saul, lead actor in a drama series. I think he's going to get it. I think it's because people love Better Call Saul so much, and people love him so much. Pedro Pascal for The Last of Us. He was terrific. Pedro Pascal is everywhere. I love Pedro Pascal. He ain't gonna win. Jeremy Strong for Succession. Whew. Jeremy Strong as Kendall Roy in Succession is the final nominee here for best actor in a lead, best lead actor in a drama series. I really think Bob Odenkirk, I really think Bob Odenkirk's going to get it because people like Bob Odenkirk. But nobody did a better acting job on television than Jeremy Strong did. Nobody. The character of Kendall Roy, what Jeremy Strong was able to do with that character, so uncomfortable, so awkward, so troubled. I mean, just everything. What an amazing. I would vote, if I were voting, I would absolutely vote for Jeremy Strong and his portrayal of Kendall Roy in Succession for best actor in a drama series. But I still think it's going to Odenkirk. I think that Jeremy Strong is going to be hurt in the voting because Jeremy Strong is known as one of these method actors who doesn't necessarily get along with all the other actors or have a particularly good reputation. That's going to cost him. Although I think he probably turned in the better acting job, it's going to cost him because you know who doesn't have that? Bob Odenkirk. Everybody loves Bob Odenkirk. How about lead actress in a drama series? Sharon Horgan for Bad Sisters. I don't know what that is. Melanie Linsky for Yellow Jackets. She is tremendous. Melanie Linsky is tremendous in everything. Elizabeth Moss for The Handmaid's Tale, Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us, Kerry Russell, The Diplomat. The Diplomat's an interesting series on Netflix. I watched a couple of episodes, didn't go back to it. Didn't grab me to the point where I'm like, I got to finish this series. But it is a show that's, still in my queue that I will at some point go back to. I don't know if she's award worthy, but Kerry Russell for The Diplomat. And finally, Sarah Snook for Succession. Sarah Snook played Siobhan Roy, the daughter in Succession. All right, so who am I going with? Lead actress in a drama series. Boom, 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 boom. I would say Sharon Horgan, Bad Sisters. I don't know. Melanie Linsky, Yellow Jackets. That's an interesting one. Elizabeth Moss. She wins a lot of stuff. People love Elizabeth Moss. Handmaid's Tale, women's issues. You got to keep an eye on that one. Right now, it's between Melanie Linsky and Elizabeth Moss. How about Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us? Nope, not going to win anything. How about Kerry Russell for The Diplomat? Nope, not going to win anything. Sarah Snook for Succession. That's an interesting one. I'm going to go with Melanie Linsky for Yellow Jackets. I'm going for, although I don't know who Sharon Horgan is, and I don't know what Bad Sisters is, so there you go. Lead actor in a comedy series, Bill Hader for Barry, Jason Segel for Shrinking. Timeout. Shrinking. Did you guys see Shrinking on Apple TV? Jason Segel and Jessica, the girl from The Daily Show. Can't think of her name. And Harrison Ford. Jesus, burying the lead, trying to name the people in the show, and I forget Harrison Ford. Shrinking is really good, man. Although I don't know if that's necessarily a comedy role. It's just, it's there's funny moments in it, but it's just a pretty really solid TV series, Shrinking. So I like that. And Jason Segel's very good in Shrinking, playing a psychiatrist who is dealing with the death of his wife and the raising of his daughter. And his business partner, his mentor is Harrison Ford, who is also a psychiatrist. It's a very good show. Shrinking. Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building. No, thank you. Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso. No, you're great, Jason Sudeikis. Don't get me wrong. You're terrific, but you already won. And the bloom is off the rose as far as Ted Lasso goes. So let's move on. Here's your winner, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner for lead actor in a comedy series is going to go to Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. That's right. Jeremy Allen. Man, if I could buy stock, and you can buy stock if you play the Hollywood Stock Exchange. If I bought stock in Hollywood stars, I would buy stock in Jeremy Allen White. He plays Carmy. He is the star of The Bear. He is the central character in this television show, The Bear. If you watched Shameless, the TV show, he first came known to all of us as Lip Gallagher, Jeremy Allen White. Tremendous young actor. And he is so good in The Bear. He's going to win an award. I think he already won the Golden Globe. I think like back in November when they did the Golden Globes, he won Best Actor for The Bear. He's coming. All right, Hollywood, look out. Jeremy Allen White, he is coming. He could be a movie star. That's right. That's why I buy stock in him. How about lead actress in a comedy series? We're going to go with Christina Applegate in Dead to Me. I don't watch Dead to Me. My 14-year-old son does. My 14-year-old son loves it. Rachel Brosnahan, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. All right, so right now, lead actress in a comedy series, it's Rachel Brosnahan. Although, again, I don't necessarily know that The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is a comedy series. It's a series about a woman trying to be a stand-up comic, but it's a series about life. It's a series about a family. Yes, there are funny moments. There are also, you could very easily call it a drama series. There's as much drama in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel as there is comedy. It's, I don't know. Anyway, Rachel Brosnahan right now is my lead candidate for lead actress in a comedy series. She's hot as they come right now in Hollywood. Quinta Brunson, Abbott Elementary. Yeah, you gotta look out for her. Apparently she won a whole bunch of trophies before. So, and she represents network television. Don't marginalize that. The Emmy Awards are airing on network television. Okay. Don't marginalize the Emmys' dedication to keeping network television a thing. That's what they're all based on, right? The Emmys didn't even allow Netflix shows to be involved in these things until 5 years ago. They wasted 10 years before they allowed HBO and Showtime shows. They used to have the Cable Ace Awards because the Emmys didn't want. So, so never underestimate the Emmy voter and the Emmy member, their desire to sort of force feed us network television. So Quinta Brunson is definitely a threat there to Rachel Brosnahan. Natasha Lyonne, she's nominated in Best Actress in a Comedy Series for Poker Face. I never saw Poker Face. I think that's a Peacock series. I know people are like, Poker Face is a good show. I never saw it. I'm gonna have to wait. I'm gonna have to wait to see it, in some other, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Here's what I do know. Love Natasha Lyonne. Natasha Lyonne is a weird chick, man. I love her, man. I will see her in anything. I think she is hysterical. Any kind of interview that Natasha Lyonne does, I am there for it. I want to hear what she says I want to hear her takes on. Do you guys remember it all, like maybe 15, 20 years ago, like right after she did American Pie, she started turning up on the Howard Stern show, where she would just hang out for the entire show, and she's just ripping on topics and she's a funny chick. Natasha Lyonne is a funny chick. I still like Rachel Brosnahan in this category, and I still worry about Quinta Brunson. So, I hear Poker Face is a good show, and I like her. Maybe I'll see it at some time. I haven't seen it yet. Also, the last one nominated here in the category of Lead Actress in a Comedy Series, Jenna Ortega for Wednesday. Never saw it. Obviously Wednesday doesn't look like a show that's appealing to me, a man in his 50s. I really don't care about an emo or goth themed little girl and her trials throughout high school. But there you have it. All right, so my pick is going to go Lead Actress in a Comedy Series. I think Rachel Brosnahan is going to get it. I think they're going to reward her because, again, she is somebody who is so well liked. I think they gave that Quinta Brunson a whole bunch of stuff last year. So although she is a very real threat, I think it's Rachel Brosnahan, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel has been such a top-tier TV show for the entire run that it's been on, and it's been quiet. People, I don't think, know how to really talk about it. I don't think people really understand. So I think that this, now that it is done, and it had such a tremendous final couple of episodes, what they did on this show that was really great, and I won't give any spoilers away, is the whole series, the first 4 seasons of this series is essentially the young career of Joan Rivers. It's about a woman who was a housewife who decided that she was funny and she was going to try and go up on stage in these Greenwich Village clubs in the early 1960s. It follows her career as she starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And in the last couple of episodes of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, they treat us to interviews from the 1980s. So it's like we're seeing, we get fast forwarded, right? See, the show takes place in the 60s. And we see them struggling in the 60s. But in the last couple of episodes, it jumps to the 1980s, and we get to see what did they make it? Did they become stars? Did that TV show become a hit? All of that kind of stuff. And it was great, and it's terrific. And I think that this, because it is the last year and it is gone, I think because it has been so quality, I think the Emmy voters might reward Rachel Brosnahan with it. Lead actress in a comedy series. I'm going with The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. How about lead actor in a limited series or movie? Taron Egerton, Blackbird, didn't see it. Kumail Nanjiani, Welcome to Chippendales. I did see it. He was awesome. Evan Peters, Dahmer, Monster. Evan Peters is great in everything. I didn't like the content there. Daniel Radcliffe in Weird, the Al Yankovic story. And you guys see that? And you guys see the Weird Al Yankovic story? I saw about 40 minutes of it, and I was like, yeah, that's funny. And then 40 minutes into it, I was like, I'm going to go do something else. So, I don't know. I got what I needed out of the Weird Al Yankovic story. Daniel Radcliffe played Weird Al. Michael Shannon played George Jones in Showtime's George and Tammy, and Stephen Yeun for Beef, the Netflix series. Michael Shannon is George Jones in George and Tammy. I had high hopes because y'all know I love me some Jessica Chastain. Tammy Wynette. She was fantastic as Tammy Wynette. But I'm a big fan of the George and Tammy story. I know a little bit about the George and Tammy story. And the George and Tammy story was not represented the way I wanted it represented in the Showtime series George and Tammy. Yes, there was love, but there was a whole lot more nonsense that the Showtime series never got into. George Jones was actually portrayed like a semi-decent guy in the Showtime series. I mean, they got a big star like Michael Shannon to play him, so they got to give him something, right, to work with. He can't be this reprehensible ass for the entire run of the miniseries. But that's what George Jones was. George Jones was an idiot. He was a complete moron. And they actually made him in the Showtime series seem smart. When you talk to anybody who knew George Jones, they'll tell them they think that he was probably a little retarded, that George Jones probably had an IQ somewhere in the 70s. He was an amazingly talented singer, though. And, so he was allowed to be that. They didn't portray him that way. They didn't portray him. So that was my problem with the George and Tammy bio. Who am I going with? Lead actor in a limited series. Let's go with Evan Peters is going to win. But I really do think that Camille Nanjiani for Welcome to Chippendales was terrific. Lead actress in a limited series. Lizzie Kaplan for Fleischman's in Trouble. Didn't see that. Jessica Chastain. George and Tammy. Give Jessica Chastain whatever she wants. My problem with the George and Tammy show on Showtime wasn't so much concerning Jessica Chastain's portrayal of Tammy Wynette. Tammy Wynette did not a whole lot to do there, right? It's that story, the story of George and Tammy, is all about George Jones, about the shit he did that created this, friction between him and his wife Tammy. Jessica Chastain was great. Dominique Fishback for Swarm. Catherine Hahn for Tiny Beautiful Things. I don't know what Tiny Beautiful Things are, but the more we start to recognize the brilliance of Catherine Hahn, the happier I am. Catherine Hahn is tremendous in everything. It's time to make her a big star. It's time to get her on the path to national treasuredom. In 20 years, I want us to look at Catherine Hahn and go, say the same things that we say when we look at a Catherine O'Hara. Those are my hopes for Catherine Hahn. Riley Keough. She is, of course, the star of Daisy Jones and the Six. She is nominated for lead actress in a limited series. Interesting thing about Riley Keough playing the young rock starlet in Daisy Jones and the Six. Riley Keough is Elvis's granddaughter. She's Elvis's granddaughter. And you look at her, I'm like, man, she's got Elvis's eyes. You know those? Okay, so this might sound bad, but it's the truth. When you look at Elvis Presley, his eyes. When you look at Lisa Marie Presley, her eyes. When you look at Riley Keough, her eyes. Those are three direct, that's a direct line. That's grandpa, daughter, granddaughter, right? They all have dead eyes. Elvis had dead, dark eyes. When you looked it up, Lisa Marie Presley, her entire life, she looked mad and angry because she had her father's big, dead, dark eyes. Riley Keough has it too. Riley, that's the first thing you notice when you may not look at her and go, oh, that's Elvis's granddaughter. But when you look at her and somebody goes, did you know that's Elvis's granddaughter? You look at her and you go, oh, wow. Yeah, okay, I can kind of see that. She's got dead eyes. She's terrific, though. She's terrific, and she just lost her mom, so it would be nice to see her win something. But I don't think she's going to win it. I think this is Jessica Chastain's to lose. Lead actress in a limited series. Also, Ali Wong for Beef. I don't know if that's any good. I haven't seen it. All right, sporting actor in a comedy series. We're going to do two more categories. We're going to do sporting actor in a comedy series and then sporting actor, actress in a comedy series. And then we'll move on from these. Sporting actor in a comedy series. Anthony Carrigan for Barry. He played the character of NoHo Hank. He is so funny. What a funny character. Phil Dunster for Ted Lasso. I don't know who Phil Dunster is. Is that Jamie? Is that Jamie Tarth? I don't care. Jamie's fine. Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso. Oh my God, am I in the tank for Brett Goldstein? I love Brett Goldstein. Brett Goldstein is one of the creators of Ted Lasso. He also plays Roy Kent, who for me emerged as the best character on Ted Lasso. Roy Kent, former Premier League superstar. Played too long, Played a bunch of years at the end of his career for teams that were absolute garbage, and he's bitter about that. Roy Kent, tremendous character, played by Brett Goldstein, nominated for supporting actor in a comedy series. James Marsden for Jury Duty. I don't know what Jury Duty is. Eben Moss Backrack for The Bear. I don't know who that is. Who the hell is Eben Moss Backrack from The Bear? Let me look this up, and I'll tell you. Because I don't know who that could be. Is it Richie? Who would have a big enough role? It is. It's Richie. Okay. All right. I was gonna say Eben Moss Backrack. That's a strange name. I have no idea. Okay, so this is Richie. Cousin Richie is nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. I endorse that. I think that Emmy likes to anoint people from out of left field for shows that maybe didn't win in other categories, like maybe The Bear doesn't win for Best Comedy Series, and they make it up to the people on The Bear by, pulling this guy out of left field. Nobody knows who this guy is. I didn't know who Eben Moss Backrack is, but I'll tell you this, he is so good in the role of Cousin Richie on The Bear that the next time he appears in a movie, and he will, because he is so good in The Bear, he's going to be a movie star. You're going to be like, oh, that's the guy from The Bear. Oh, I remember the first time I saw him on The Bear. He's terrific. And Emmy loves to do that. Emmy did it a couple of years ago with Ted Lasso, where just out of nowhere, they started anointing these people as like the great. They did it last year with Quinta Brunson, which was, celebrated far and wide as look at them honoring this network television show. I think that Eben Moss Backrack, Richie from The Bear, he could be one of these people that all of a sudden after Emmy night, we know who he is. Right now, we just know him as Cousin Richie. God, such a great character. Such a great character. And over the course of the first 2 seasons of The Bear, you see growth in the character of Richie that is just rare. I mean, typically you don't like to see growth in hit characters on TV shows, because growth, we didn't want to see any growth out of Kramer, right? We didn't want Kramer to realize one day that he shouldn't just pop in the door the way no, we wanted Kramer to be that way. But with the character of Cousin Richie, he began as one of the most reprehensible people that you could have in your personal universe. He was a drug dealer. He was not dependable. He was a bit of a con man. He was trouble. He was fiery. He didn't have any kind of control of his rage. He had all these issues. And now we've seen this character sort of become, I wear suits now. As he says, as he explains to everybody, I wear suits now. So I love that guy. What a great thing. I'm going with Eben Moss Backrack as my dark horse to come out and win the Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. Tyler James Williams is also nominated for Abbott Elementary, and of course the beloved Henry Winkler for Barry. I don't care. I would love to see Henry Winkler win it too. That would be great, right? Henry Winkler, the Fonz. Although, did he win last year? If Henry Winkler has already had that moment, forgive me. But if he hasn't had that moment, then we need to do the Henry Winkler moment at the Emmys, where he comes up, he wins, he's tearful, and then he goes on to say stuff like, for 10 years in the 70s, I was the #1 television star on TV, and I came and I sat here every year and I never won anything. Right? That's the moment that we want. We want old Henry Winkler not winning for the Fonz, but winning for, something else. That would be great. But short of that, I would really like to see Eben Moss Backrack for The Bear win. And I'm also going to put him over Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso. Why? Because Ted Lasso and Brett Goldstein won a bunch of stuff in the last time around, so we're good. All right, the final category that we're going to cover here, supporting actress in a comedy series. This is Best Actress in a Comedy Series. Oh, you know what? If you guys still want to hang, no, we'll go through another one, because I see that there's supporting actor in a drama series that we got to do. And I'm willing to do that if you're willing to do that. I got nowhere to be. It's 1:59. All right, supporting actress in a comedy series, Alex Borstein for her role of Susie in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. If you listen to me and James and I, James Parker, my partner on the Radio Misfit show, which airs every night at 9:00. James Parker is my partner. We love the Mrs. Maisel, and we talk about one of our favorite characters in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is that of Alex Borstein, who plays Susie, Mrs. Maisel's comedy manager. And they hook up with each other in the very early episodes. You know, Mrs. Maisel is just a housewife, and Susie is basically a bouncer at a club, right? And then so we follow the series follows their partnership. Is Mrs. Maisel going to become Joan Rivers? Which is essentially what the story was begun. It started out as that. It started out as an arrangement with Joan Rivers and her family to develop her early days in New York. It turned into something else. But anyway, who is Alex Borstein? Well, she's Lois Griffin from Family Guy. Like, if you love Family Guy, she's Lois. She's the mom from Family Guy. She's been described as Seth MacFarlane's muse. Seth MacFarlane uses her in almost everything that he does because he adores her. What else? Alex Borstein. I was just talking about Shameless. My son and I are rewatching old episodes of Shameless. And in the first season of Shameless, every episode, and by the way, the first season of Shameless is probably the best season of Shameless. Every single episode is written by Alex Borstein. Alex Borstein is a force, man. And you may not even know her name, but you have been affected by her work. And for that reason, I am putting her atop the charts as far as my favorite to win the Emmy for Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. Alex Borstein as Susie in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Oh, Susie. You want to talk about character growth? Ooh, no character has ever grown more from the first time we see her in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel to the last time we see her in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And Alex Borstein did that. She deserves an award for it. How about Ayo Edebiri, Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series? Ayo Edebiri. I can't pronounce the name. My apologies to people with African names. That's tough. Is it Ayo Edebiri? I hope that I'm doing it properly. She's Sydney. She's Sydney from The Bear. Sydney is lovely. Sydney is wonderful. Sydney, I think, is going to be around for a while. Sydney is not going to win this year. Sorry, Sydney. I love you. I think you're a great character in The Bear, but you're not going to win. Janelle James for Abbott Elementary. Again, I don't know anything about Abbott Elementary. Cheryl Lee Ralph for Abbott Elementary. I know Cheryl Lee Ralph, but I don't know. I think they're going to cancel each other out. Juno Temple, also nominated Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. Juno Temple, she plays Keeley in Ted Lasso. No, she's not going to win anything. Hannah Waddingham, she plays Rebecca in Ted Lasso. She ain't going to win anything. I think she's great. Hannah Waddingham as Rebecca in Ted Lasso is incredible. I can't wait to see what else Hannah Waddingham ends up doing, because I'm a big Hannah Waddingham fan now. And you know who else is a big, and this is really telling. This is really telling. My 14-year-old son. My 14-year-old son really digs Rebecca. And if you know if you know Ted Lasso, Rebecca is the owner of the Premier League team. She is the owner of the team that Ted Lasso coaches. And she won the team in a divorce settlement. She was like the hot smoke show trophy wife of a much older billionaire who in their divorce was forced to give her the team. So now she's like this big 6 foot tall, 50-year-old woman. I don't know how old she is, but she is definitely a MILF, and she is built. I mean, she is just crazy built. She looks amazing in these power suits that she wears. My 14-year-old son, she's got something, Dad. She's got something. Yeah, she does. She's old enough to be your grandma, but yeah, she's got something. So good luck to her. She ain't gonna win. Jessica Williams gets nominated for Shrinking. I couldn't think of Jessica Williams' name. She's the girl from The Daily Show that's now on The Shrinking Show with Jason Segel and Harrison Ford, the Apple TV show. She's tremendous as well. But I got to go with Alex Borstein. I got Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series, the final season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Alex Borstein is another one of these people in Hollywood who is beloved. She does everything. She's a grinder. She's a writer. She's a voice actress. She's a singer. She does everything. She's an actress. She's a dramatic actress, and she's a comedy actress. People love Alex Borstein. Last season of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I think she walks away with it. I think she wins it. All right, why not? Should we keep rolling? Because some of these we might still have some. I'm looking right now at Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series, and I've got some hot takes here. These are the Emmy Awards that were released earlier today. Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series, we're going to go with F. Murray Abraham for The White Lotus. Who was he in the White Lotus? The White Lotus was really good this year. I don't remember who was F. Murray Abraham. All right, see, there you go. I can't give him any real consideration. I don't remember who he was. Who did F. Murray Abraham play? Oh, he was the dad. He was the grandpa, right? There was the grandpa. Then there was Christopher Moltisanti, Michael Imperioli. He was the son. Okay, there you go. All right, whatever. Nicholas Braun for Succession. Cousin Greg. Cousin Greg is so good. Supporting actor in a drama series right now. My favorite. Pick to click. Nicholas Braun, Cousin Greg. How about Michael Imperioli? Christopher Moltisanti. I just mentioned him. The White Lotus. He was good too. As a famous Hollywood producer, successful Hollywood producer, studio head, that kind of guy with a sex addiction. And he just basically hired a bunch of prostitutes to live with him in his hotel there at the White Lotus. So good. That's a good show if you're not watching the White Lotus. Theo James for the White Lotus. Again, I don't know who's Theo James. I just can't with that. Matthew McFadden for Succession. Tom Wamsgams in Succession. Best supporting actor in a drama series. Okay, so right now, for me, it's coming down to Nicholas Braun, who plays Cousin Greg in Succession, versus the Kusum Tusum. He was always teamed up with Tom Wamsgams. That would be Matthew McFadden in Succession. I think they might cancel each other out. Oh my God! But wait a second, we're going to split it here because Alan Ruck, Connor Roy is also nominated for Succession. Will Sharp for the White Lotus. I don't know who that is. And Alexander Skarsgård for Succession. Succession. There's going to be a lot of votes canceling each other out for Succession. So let's see here. So we've got Succession canceling each other out, and we got White Lotus canceling each other out. Those are the only two shows nominated. Oh, wow. Look at this entire category. Everybody was in one of two shows, the White Lotus or Succession. 1, 2, 3, 4 nominees for White Lotus, and 1, 2, 3, 4 nominees. I have no idea. All right, so since canceling each other out doesn't seem to be a thing, I'm going to go with Nicholas Braun. Cousin Greg might sneak through this. Cousin Greg, Succession. All right, let's see what else. Supporting actress in a drama series. We've got Jennifer Coolidge for The White Lotus. Stop the presses. That's who we're giving the award to. I don't care who else is nominated. Jennifer Coolidge. She's the one thing, she's going to be the one static thing in The White Lotus. The White Lotus is an anthology series. What that means is that every year it is a different cast of people in a different situation. Now, what is the consistent? The White Lotus is a chain of fancy luxury resorts around the world. So every season of the White Lotus takes place at a different White Lotus resort in a different part of the world. I think the first one was Hawaii. This past season was like somewhere in the south of France or something like that. So next season, it will be another group of people. Think of it like the Fantasy Island. Like, in Fantasy Island, people would show up, except it's a different, fancy locale each season. The one person, Jennifer Coolidge, seems to be the person who every season turns up at a different, playing the same character. And she's terrific. She is a national treasure, Jennifer Coolidge. Oh, but look, now I'm being tempted. Sure, I want Jennifer Coolidge right out of the box to win for the White Lotus. But what about Elizabeth Debicki from The Crown? Elizabeth Debicki. My favorite Lady Di. She played Lady Di in The Crown, and she was adorable. She's skating, disco roller skating with her headphones on through Buckingham Palace to Duran Duran's Girls on Film. Come on! Elizabeth Debicki, an adorable, a charming version of a young Lady Di, Princess Di. Megan Fahey for the White Lotus. Don't know what that is. Sabrina Impacciatore for the White Lotus. I don't know who that is. Aubrey Plaza for the White Lotus. Love her. White Lotus. If you don't know this show, White Lotus is a great show. It's got a lot of stuff. Aubrey Plaza for the White Lotus. Who doesn't love her? Rhea Seehorn. Better Call Saul. Can we give something to Rhea Seehorn? I feel so bad for Rhea Seehorn. I feel bad for Rhea Seehorn because she plays a character in a show that historically is nothing. Nobody's ever going to remember her character. Although Kim Wexler was definitely important. She's like, well, put it to you this way. I would like for Rhea Seehorn to have a career post Better Call Saul. I would think that seems like a no-brainer. Everybody likes her. She's good. She's a good actress. We've seen her as a good actress. We know that she can do stuff. Rhea Seehorn should have a career after Better Call Saul. But like, why doesn't Skylar? Why doesn't Breaking Bad? Why doesn't Skylar have a career? You know, Hanks or not Hanks. Walter White, Skylar White. She was the mom in Breaking Bad. She's on that show for like 7 seasons or whatever. She was terrific. She was amazing. And then that show ends and she's like that disposable character that we all move on from. Bryan Cranston, his dance card is full. Bryan Cranston's making movies left and right. Aaron Paul making movies left and right. All these people have moved on. Meanwhile, Skylar's like, I'm doing dinner theater now. Why is that? I worry about the fate of Rhea Seehorn. I worry about Rhea Seehorn becoming another one of these women who are so incredible on a television show. And they became just like icons, and then they don't get to do anything else. So anyway, it would be nice for Rhea Seehorn to win here. I'm going to hope that she does because Kim Wexler is fantastic. She is not forgettable. However, here's the problem. Rhea Seehorn is competing against J. Smith Cameron, who from Succession. Come on, man. J. Smith Cameron, the lawyer, the head of legal for Waystar Royco. What was her name? Why can't I think of her name? Or Roman Roy. Was obsessed with her sexually and would send her dick pics and would force her to talk dirty to him on conference calls. What was her name? Jackie? No, it's the dude's name. She's got like a dude. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because I still think Rhea Seehorn's going to win. But J. Smith Cameron from Succession is awesome. And then someone named Simona Tabasco for the White Lotus. We're going Rhea Seehorn. There we go. Anything else? Nah, there's nothing else. That seems to be all of the guest actor in a comedy series. Huh? Okay, all right, let's do that. Okay, why not? Best actor in a comedy series. John Barenthal in The Bear. John Barenthal plays Michael, the older brother of Carmy in The Bear. Michael kills himself, which is the reason for Carmy returning home to take over the family restaurant. Michael kills himself, but he is featured in a number of flashbacks, and we learn that Michael is in fact played by John Barenthal. Okay, so how about Luke Kirby, guest actor in a comedy series, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Don't know what that's about. Nathan Lane, he appeared in Only Murders in the Building. Again, I didn't see that. Oliver Platt for The Bear. Jimmy Cicero on The Bear. Oliver Platt is so good in The Bear. Oliver Platt plays Uncle Jimmy Cicero, who is, if you grow up in Chicago, you know guys like Jimmy Cicero. You're not sure what they do for a living. They got a whole lot of money, and they've got a whole bunch of friends that if you need anything done, they can get it done for you, no questions asked. That's who Oliver Platt plays to perfection in The Bear. a guy who's, he's got his hands in a whole bunch of pots. Don't ask about where it all started or how it came from, or don't ask about, He's great. I love it. Sam Richardson for Ted Lasso. Sam Richardson is a very funny young comedic actor. First popped on the screen in Veep. He was great in Veep as Richard, the very uncomfortable and awkward Richard. He was in Ted Lasso. He played this African billionaire who was trying to ruin Ted Lasso's team. All right, so who's going to win? Who do I go for? Guest actor in a comedy series. I think I'm going to go with Oliver Platt for The Bear. He is so good. He is so good in The Bear as Uncle Jimmy Cicero. He's an outfit guy. I think he's connected. There's, we don't talk about such things, but you need something done. You go, just pull your Uncle Jimmy aside and mention what you got going on, and he'll probably have some advice for you. That's Jimmy Cicero. And there are more of those guys than I care to remember from my past. Guest actor in a comedy series. Becky Ann Baker for Ted Lasso. She played Rebecca's mom. Quinta Brunson on Saturday Night Live. She was good. Taraji P. Henson for Abbott Elementary. Didn't see it. Judith Light in Poker Face. Angela was on Poker Face. There you go. Sarah Niles for Ted Lasso. Don't know who that is. Harriet Walter for Ted Lasso. Don't know who that is. All right, we're moving on. I don't care about that category. Guest actress in a drama series. Nope. Variety talk series. All right, variety talk series. What's the best variety talk series? Do we even watch any of these anymore? How about The Daily Show with Trevor Noah? No, thank you. How about Jimmy Kimmel Live? No, thank you. How about Late Night with Seth Meyers? I catch some of the viral stuff, but no, thank you. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert? No, thank you. And I don't even know what the problem with Jon Stewart is. No, actually, I do. It's an Apple TV show. I don't have a pick there. I don't watch Talk TV anymore. Reality competition program. How about we just give that to the entire category? I don't give a shit. Give it to The Amazing Race. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about this nonsense. Outstanding television movie. Boy, this just looks like a bunch of bad stuff. Dolly Parton's Mountain Magic Christmas on NBC. No, thank you. Fire Island on Hulu. No. I don't think Hocus Pocus 2 on Disney. No. Prey on Hulu. I don't know what that is. Weird the Al Yankovic story on the Roku channel. It's like the only one I've seen. Outstanding animated program. There's so much of that. How do you even narrow that shit down? Outstanding production design. We don't care about that stuff. All right, that's it. Those are the Emmy Awards. We've gone through them. I don't know when they air. When do they air? They air like in a couple of months or something like that. You got to give people time to get dresses, right? Isn't that how it works? Let me see. Is there anything that is going on in the world since we've signed on? Oh, those 2 hours plus ago. Adam Reyna says he's surprised that F. Murray Abraham got nominated for an Emmy because of some scandal. What did he do? What did he do? He's an old man. What did he do? What did F. Murray Abraham do? I don't know. Probably something. Everybody's doing something. All right, let's see here. What is trending here? Why is AT&T Stadium trending? Let's see here. Rhea Seehorn is trending. That's good. I hope that there are people that really take notice of what we did to Skylar White. I don't even know that woman's name. What's the name of the woman who played Skylar White? I should know her name. She co-starred on what is arguably, in a lot of people's opinion, the greatest television series of all time, Breaking Bad. She was on that series in every single episode from beginning to end, and we don't even know that woman's name. I don't want that to happen to Rhea Seehorn. She's terrific. Why is AT&T Stadium trending? Let's see here. I don't know what this is. All right. Why is Elizabeth Olsen trending? I love me some Elizabeth Olsen. I will always. Why is she trending? Yeah, that's interesting. It is okay. So Elizabeth Olsen is trending because people are pissed that she did not receive an Emmy Award nomination for Love and Death, which was the HBO miniseries from a couple of months ago about Candy Montgomery, the girl up here in Murphy, Texas, who murdered her best friend with an axe. She was amazing in that. Elizabeth Olsen is amazing in everything. Have you ever seen WandaVision? Have you ever seen the way that episode to episode Elizabeth Olsen has to completely change the type of acting that she's doing based on whatever era of television she's trying to emulate? That's an incredible skill. I don't think anybody really... The first season of WandaVision, and I don't know if there's going to be a second season. I don't know what's going on with that. But the first season of WandaVision is some absolutely stunning television, and above and beyond all of that other stuff, her performance, her ability to basically go from Elizabeth Montgomery, like she would play Elizabeth Montgomery, who was the star of Bewitched. She would play Elizabeth Montgomery and use that style of acting. And then in the next episode, she would have to play a Carol Brady type and use that style. It was really amazing. Elizabeth Olsen has some freaking chops, y'all. And then when you see her as Candy Montgomery in this Love and Death series, you wonder, yeah, why didn't she win any? Why wasn't she nominated? She sure should have been. Yeah. All right, that's it. I got nothing else. I don't think there's anything else big happening. Let me just quickly check one more thing, and then we'll decide whether or not we're going to keep going with today's show. I don't think we are. I think we're done. I think we should just all get excited and ready for tonight's 9 o'clock Radio Misfits show every Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We all get together, and by we all, I mean myself, James Parker, and E. And there you go. It's that one. Yep. We get together and we chop it up at 9 o'clock.
I have got my poetry. I have got my songs. They see me through the lonely nights. Help me to be strong. I am like the dancing bear, trained to be the best.
Who's Ray Epps? I keep seeing this name Ray Epps everywhere. Apparently Ray Epps is some guy. He's suing Fox for like billions of dollars, and they think that he's got an even better case than Dominion. I don't know who Ray Epps is, and I don't care. Succession nabs 27 Emmy nominations. So there seems to be some kind of a debate. We just spent a pretty good amount of time on the Emmy Awards. One show that I didn't mention at all was Yellowstone. Yellowstone was pretty much shut out on the Emmy Awards. So now, of course, there's this whole thing, like, it's got to be political that Yellowstone was snubbed. No, I don't think so. I love Yellowstone. I've seen every episode of Yellowstone, but Yellowstone is not the same kind of show as these shows that are winning awards. Yellowstone's just not as good. It's not as dramatic. Yellowstone actively indulges in soap opera tropes. Yellowstone actively engages in the kind of television that a Dynasty once did, or a Falcon Crest. They have, so those kinds of shows are never looked at in the same way. For instance, people are comparing Succession to Yellowstone. Both are really good shows. I enjoy both of them. I enjoy Succession more because I think Succession is a higher quality show. I think there are a lot of elements of Yellowstone that are, you roll your eyes at. You go, oh, whatever. It's just fun TV, whatever. Succession doesn't do that. So Succession is Yellowstone not being nominated because shows like Yellow Jackets or The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel or Succession or The White Lotus, it doesn't mean that there is some sort of political bias at work here. It just means that there are different tiers of shows. There are shows that are award-worthy shows. The Love Boat was an amazing show. I love The Love Boat. I love Fantasy Island. Those shows never won any awards. You know what shows won awards? Lou Grant, right? And at the time, people were like, well, why isn't Love Boat winning any awards? But Lou Grant about the liberal media. No, they're just different kinds of shows. And that's what we have here. Yellowstone is not one of those serious, dramatic shows. Yellowstone is a tremendous story from a very gifted storyteller in Taylor Sheridan, but it relies heavily on soap opera tropes. That's the difference. That's all. It's not a political thing. It's just not as, how would I use this? I'm trying not to anger fans of Yellowstone, of which I consider myself a member of. I love Yellowstone. I love that show. I don't want to say that it's not as pedigreed. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the thing. It's not as pedigreed. I don't even know if pedigreed is the right thing. Anyway, that's something that's living up. I don't believe for 1 minute it has anything to do with politics. That's the other thing that, I always find funny about this. Taylor Sheridan, he cannot stop talking about why do people think I'm this like right-wing guy? Taylor Sheridan is a liberal from Hollywood. Yes, he likes cowboy shit and he rides horses and he's writing all of these incredible stories. But, like he says, you watch Yellowstone, it's a pretty progressive show. It's about conservatism. It's about protecting the land. It's about, the family and small business versus big business and all of that stuff and government, Anyway, I'm tired of this whole thing. Like, why do I have to? I feel like there are people, and when I start talking about Yellowstone and how much I like Yellowstone, I feel like I got to apologize for it. How did this happen? It's just a TV show. Stop it. Taylor Sheridan ain't some big, political guy. He's not. He's a dude. He's a dude. Is he from Oklahoma or is he from Texas? I'm not entirely sure, but he's from somewhere around here. He went out to Hollywood when he was a young man. Became an actor or writer. He was Hale on Sons of Anarchy. He was chief of police Hale, right? That's the first time that we saw him. He's not some crazy lefty. He's just a normal person telling stories about, this family. But it's not the same kind of thing, right? Like Yellowstone is the kind of show that would have been a hit on network television at 9:00 on Wednesdays, right? You tune in. Whereas Succession has always felt like an HBO show, where there's going to be F-bombs and it's a little bit more, you're allowed to go a little bit more cinematic with your storytelling than sort of, I think the self-imposed guidelines that they have with Yellowstone. Yellowstone is supposed to look like a traditional 1-hour network television show. And it does. And it's good. Doesn't mean that it's being snubbed because of politics. What other shows? I'm trying to think what else is. I don't know. All right, let's keep going. Let me see what else. What else is trending? Oh no, we're in the closing theme. See, I got distracted. You people tricked me. Barney says Ray Epps is a Fed informant and possibly John Doe number 2. Well, we know where Barney gets his information from. We'll see what a court says, because I think that's the whole point of this case. That he is not, in fact, all those things that you say. And I don't know. We'll see. I don't know enough about it, because that's crazy people stuff. Ginning up the idiots. That's what it was about. That's what it's about in this country. Let's gin people up. Because when people are ginned up, they don't know what to do. And when people don't know what to do, they look to you for answers. And I will be the one to provide those. That's the whole idea. It's the whole idea. Let's get people crazy. Let's confidently tell people things that are not true, so that they believe, well, he said it so confidently, it must be true. Now I got Barney confidently telling me that he knows that Ray Epps is a federal informant. See, that's an agendized view of this story. I don't know who this guy is. I've never heard of him before today, but he's in big red right there on the Drudge Report, which is one of the many news aggregators that I use to pull out stories. So what's the deal with this guy, Barney? He's like, Fox News said, he was these things. And now he's saying he's not. And it's like a big, giant lawsuit. I don't know. We'll see if they settle. They fired everybody, involved in all of these things. So, anybody still? You guys still watching Fox News? I don't know. I don't watch any of that garbage. I don't watch any of that stupid stuff. I watch viral clips. I spend way too much time on YouTube. Do you know what I really do? I have been spending way too much time over the past week consuming American Gladiator content. How many different American Gladiator shows are going to pop up over the course of the next couple of weeks here left in the summer? There are 2. Muscles in Mayhem on Netflix is a new 4-part docu-series about the history of the 90s, late 80s, early 90s show, American Gladiators. And I watched that because that show was right in my wheelhouse. Love that show. Watched it. Loved Muscles in Mayhem. Ripped right through it. Then I see, because I love me some 30 for 30s on ESPN, then I see that ESPN has a brand new 4-hour 2-episode part 1 and part 2 30 for 30 on the American Gladiators. So then I had to watch that. American Gladiators trivia. I am ready to enter a contest. I feel like I know way too much about the American Gladiators. Oh, we ran out of theme. God, okay. No. Here we go. Nice. Why did it start over? That's pretty weird. All right. Something very strange is happening right now with my phone. Here we go. All right. See you tonight at 9. All right. Love you guys. See you tonight at 9 for Radio Misfits with me, Parker, and E. Bye, everybody.